Let's do a cheers to the Sobeys and Safely Liquid Beer Review podcast.
We ride again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
Check-in, come on, let's go. It's the AM Nasty Big Hello.
It's not static, AM radio.
It's the Cool and Red Hot Nielson Show. Let's go. Everybody's tuning in, even my wife.
Mommy likes too.
And those Macromala intros are cutting like a knife. Hey, it's Mitch texting in, he's your dealer for life. Let's crack at 6 o'clock a lager with some sirloin bites. Nom, 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 nom.
Happy Thursday, everyone. How are we doing? Trev, can you turn me up just a little bit? Dusty and Grant Hill. Yeah, there it is. That is Grant Hill. I knew it. Grant Hill's in the house today. God, you gotta love that.
Bring these back, hey?
Man, why not?
This is 90s right here, hey?
Like with all the bad jerseys you see nowadays, why not crank it up a level with this thing?
Let's be honest, the Pistons logo in color. Like, I mean, I know it's traditional, but
cool blue, white, red, man.
Ain't doing much with it.
We get it. You're from the United States.
Yeah.
Cool story. What's going on, everybody? How you doing today? Dusty and Lieutenant Eric with you. The Nielson Show presented to you by the fine folks, the fun-loving folks at South Fort Chevrolet. Visit them at 10109 89th Ave, Fort Sask. You can also hop online at www.southfortchev.com. Your go-to dealership for Silverado 1500s, heavy duties, family-friendly, stress-free experience at South Fort Chevrolet. How you doing today, buddy? What's going on? Good idea, not wearing any sleeves today. We are trying to cool down the studio more today than we did yesterday.
And it's working. The doors are shut. The lights are like it's better than yesterday.
We reset the thermostat yesterday. It was Maddie's big idea, trying to get some cool airflow through the vents here at the offices on the west end of Edmonton. And I think there's some cool air. I think there might be a little bit of cool air blowing out of there. And then we set up the smallest fan you've ever seen in your life is set up by the door. And then we close the door to try to keep all the cool air in here today. So
probably the worst fan of all fans. It doesn't even move. It sits stationary.
I know.
But right now, we're taking it.
And I think it's blowing above our heads.
Absolutely.
I think it's angled up.
We could all blow each other this morning, kind of a three-way.
Definitely. I would definitely think the three of us could try to blow each other this morning.
Small room, you get that air going.
To keep temperatures down here in the EST offices.
Good thing is my AC was fixed yesterday, and I tell you what.
It was, hey?
It's night and day.
Oh, man. I felt so bad. Like last night, we were outside. The kids were having their final match of volleyball with their cousins before they got very intense. It was wild to see. They're my children, like especially Marshall. He was rattled. He was riding a high when they were up. He couldn't breathe when they were tied.
The cousins don't know what house they walked into.
Man, well, no, the cousins, they bring the heat too.
They bring it too, okay.
Yeah, they bring the heat too. It was only Muzz who was really having a good time. She's like, don't worry about it. Like she doesn't care.
She's just
too much.
the fan that watched Colombia, Uruguay. Everybody else is going at it.
Yeah.
Hey?
But then I walked back into the house after, and I was like, "Ooh, it's chilly in here." Like, air conditioning is a game changer. Sorry, Trev.
I don't want to speak too much in front of Trev because I know he's dealing with the complete opposite right now.
Yeah. You didn't sleep in your car again last night, did you, buddy? Good.
It was, no, it was okay. No more. I won't be doing that. I'm a little spooked even just getting my car now.
He'll take the heat.
I guess when you have randos trying to break into your car, coincidentally on the one night you decided to sleep out in it, that might be a little bit hesitant to go do that again, I think. If you're watching over on YouTube today, you can hammer the thumbs up. We would appreciate that. We are closing in on 9,400 subs over on YouTube as well. So whether you're watching live or you're watching archived a little bit later on or you're watching anything on the show that gets clipped along the way, sub to the channel. We'd love to be at 10,000 by the time we roll into our 1-year anniversary in early September. We do have a pretty busy show for you yet. This is a weird one because I don't know if I'm going to be here at the end of the show or not.
Well, and the first Thursday in a while, should mention. I mean, how does it feel, first off?
Well, I am kind of looking forward to Scalding Hot Takes.
Yeah, it'd be good.
It's been a little while. It's been a little while since I got to do some hot takes. But yeah, I've been gone for a lot of Thursdays and Fridays with CFL and TSN. I was supposed to fly out at like 10 o'clock this morning.
Yes.
So I have all of my stuff here ready to go, but I got an email last night at 10 o'clock that an airline that will remain unnamed, let's just say it rhymes with JustBet, canceled my flight last night, put me on another flight later today, but I don't want to get into Winnipeg that late, so I have a travel person trying to book me onto a flight that leaves at 10 o'clock, but I have to go through Vancouver to get to Winnipeg. Vancouver's that way. Winnipeg's that way. I'm going to go from here all the way over there and then all the way out there. And don't even get me started on the other airline because they don't even have direct flights to Winnipeg from Edmonton, which, I mean, you're like kind of like air part of Canada. Like it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
It's all very economical, hey? Yeah.
I'm dealing with that travel stress today, and it's pissing me off.
You should explore into Via Rail, a CFL partnership with Via Rail, and just take the train. They don't get canceled, do they? I mean,
relax, see the country. Imagine how picturesque
meet some friends.
A train ride would be from here to Winnipeg.
You in suits, sharing a little cab?
Out through Lloyd, over, down, through Regina or whatever.
Yeah.
The prairie,
Make
man.
all the stops.
The way it's supposed to be. Wheel says, Dusty, you're fine with WestJet? It's another WestJet strike. Is that? I didn't get it. I didn't get a notification on that today.
Wheels is just
spouting Wheels, are you just messing with me? Is that why my flight was canceled? Are you just going to cancel that? What? I thought that was smoothed out.
I think we just maybe assume there always some sort of a work disruption there. I think it was smoothed out, but now they have to catch up, right? That's the whole, and they're going to spend years catching up to the schedule.
I guess
you expect it now.
What
You can't not expect some sort of wrinkle every week.
Man. I can't even get started. You know my frustrations.
It's on multiple fronts.
Yeah, like not even the airlines. I'm not going to name names. No. But we have somebody at TSN who handles our travel, but she's brand new to the job this year. And let's just say I had a hotel booked in Edmonton this weekend, which I almost wanted to keep and just go stay at the Westin for 2 nights.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Your flight back was before the kickoff of the game you're supposed to cover.
I'm supposed to. My return flight is booked for tomorrow at 2:00. Kickoff's not till 7. So we're gonna have to move that flight too.
Sounds like somebody knows you love time travel. Hey, maybe that's what it is. Hey, maybe it's just kind of. I know Dusty likes to. Skip around the dimensions.
It's been a frustrating start to the season for my travel. But should I have not told anybody and just used the Saturday and Sunday night at the Westin here in Edmonton for my family? I mean, it's not my fault.
If they're going to keep gifting you these things,
I got a reservation there.
Say thank you and move on. Eh?
I think that would be. I think that'd be outstanding.
Or at least for Trev to stay.
Actually, yeah, I should have said, you know what? Can I get that Edmonton room flipped over to
please?
I am Dustin Nielsen.
You too, Trev. Hello.
Use the pool.
Dustin Nielsen here. Can you confirm you're Dustin Nielsen? Glenn Suter's my best friend.
Here's my Nexus card.
It's definitely Nielsen. You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. That'll get you into the Paris Jewelers inbox today. 22 stores in 4 provinces across Canada. They've got a large and high-quality selection of engagement rings for all of you lovers out there. Some of them are lab-created at great prices, as opposed to the rings you can just find out in nature, right? There's a diamond mine somewhere that comes with the diamonds already on the rings. You're like, oh my God, do you know how much we're going to save in processing? This is incredible.
Just got to clean it off a bit.
You can shop in store or online at www.parisjewelers.com. Bones is in. Bones works down at the airport. He goes, the creeping delay. Like, that's the one where it's like, see, this one wasn't even,
what's happening.
I appreciate not getting the creeping delay here. They just straight up canceled the flight. I appreciate that more than, hey, you're now going to leave in 35 minutes.
That's true.
Now you're going to leave in 47 minutes. Now you're going to leave in an hour and 20 minutes. Now you're not going to leave at all, you sucker. Like,
They looked you in the eyes and they shot their shot.
yeah. Other fun ways. I wish the CFL could invest in a hot air balloon. Wouldn't that be something across the prairies?
Bring back the blimps.
A blimp.
Yeah.
Great idea. I really like that one. That's a good idea. I love this text that came in at 10:20 last night from Rip City Step. USA depth too much in an exhibition when Canada is letting everyone play. Shai and Murray will play more when it matters and hopefully shoot better than tonight.
That was a big night for American basketball, and they needed it.
Oh,
right?
Man, there's nothing like tuning into a Canadian channel and watching a fully branded American basketball broadcast. Holy smokes. I actually had Grant Hill on forever. I'm waiting for people to complain about the booth interview.
Barack Obama's there, slapping hands prior to tip-off. Largest ever attendance at T-Mobile.
Bigger
Over
than
20,000.
the Caitlin Clark game.
Huge. But they needed it. They needed to get back in the good grace. Canada booed. Of course, we know what Canada's done on the court against them. I'm like, Step, it's fine. Like, you can't get too...
I know it's fine. It's early. The big guys
Exhibition.
didn't play well.
Yeah.
They're rolling.
This was
through
America's
everybody.
game.
I mean, I will quickly point out that Kevin Durant didn't even play for the Americans last night. He's a walking bucket, always has been. The tarantula, the Slim Reaper. Early thoughts. I don't want to spend too much time today
On an
on
Olympic tune-up,
pre-Olympic basketball.
where you don't want to show too much.
But in the sad state of affairs right now, I did watch 3/4 of this game last night. And the U.S. is just too big. They're too big for Canada. Like, they are. I mean, there's no answer for Joel Embiid, and there's no answer for Anthony Davis. And it's funny because if you look at it, the U.S. is a heavy favorite in this thing. Not just specifically in the game last night. They were 12.5-point favorites, so they're exclusive betting partners over at CoolBet. But like, they're minus 500 to win gold. Canada has the third best odds to win gold, and they're 9-1. So, and when you look at, so Canada has the third best odds to win gold. Saw them play against the gold medal favorites last night, and the U.S. just looked too big and too powerful last night. And when you do have to get into benches, I know we've got some great top-end talent, and our Canadian depth is way better than it was like in the Steve Nash days. We understand that. But the guys, like, they're rolling Tatum off the bench. What are you supposed to do when you've got Anthony Davis,
And the Ant-Man, yeah.
Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, and Jason Tatum coming off your bench? Of course they're going to win gold. Like, that's insane. Absolutely ridiculous.
Reverse psychology. I get it. I get where you're going.
Yeah,
It's theirs to lose.
Canada has no chance to win.
Should be playing free and fancy.
The problem is, like, they've got great guard play. Canada does. They should, with SGA and Jamal Murray. But yeah, the bigs, that's good. There's no elite Canadian big, and that'll be the difference when they meet again in the gold medal game. I think that's what you gotta have. You gotta have that.
Who was two? Did you notice in the betting it was USA? You said for the gold. Canada's there must be a Euro.
Well, last night I was talking about it with my dad, and off the top of my head, for some reason I did say Turkey.
Okay,
but I don't know if that made a lot of sense. I don't know why they were at the top of my head. I'm looking it up right now because we did this yesterday on the Lock Shop. Where is Olympics? I can't find it right now. But I know because Canada's in a group at the Olympics with like Australia, Spain, and Greece.
Yeah, I got you power rankings here done by CBS. I mean, it's
Okay.
supposed to
Give
get
me
you.
the CBS
They have
power.
USA 1, Canada 2,
Okay.
France at 3,
No, it wasn't France. Oh, man.
Germany at 4, Serbia 5, Australia 6, Greece 7,
Turkey even in this thing?
Spain 8, Puerto Rico 9, Brazil, Japan, South Sudan.
So it's not Turkey.
But maybe a betting dark horse, if you will.
Oh, here we are, Olympic Games. I'll tell you right now. Who was the number 2? Why did I think it was Turkey? Oh,
Red
France.
flag?
It was
Red,
France.
okay. They got a little red in there.
I always get France and Turkey
Yes,
confused.
you do. Yeah. Well,
My bad. I think they speak the same language. I don't know. Like that's a classic mix-up there. But yeah, France with Wemby and stuff. Like that's not easy. We'll see what he does in his Olympic Games. But yeah, well, I mean, we're not going to spend much time on that. I do want to talk about the NBA landing a $76 billion television deal. We'll do that at some point as we work our way through the show today. If you are watching over on YouTube, hammer the thumbs up for us. Appreciate the support here in the dog days of summer. But we've got a lot to get to actually on the show.
Big
today.
Maple wants your starting Canadian lineups and simulating them stat, I think, for the Paris games. I hope
Is that how we turn it around?
I hope he's talking about that.
I mean,
and not something
I
else.
am delivering Stanley Cup winning lineups.
Just as you do. It's simple as that.
no
the
big
Ducks,
deal.
The Ducks, eh?
What are you supposed to be? Like, come on. Brelando is in. It says, give those boys on Team Canada a rope hat and let's go. Oh, so that was one of the bits. We had a couple of bits on our team at the EST Golf Classic. Brelando was one of our guys, supposed to be our best golfer. Played high school golf. Not technically
High
sure
school
he was.
golf. I like that,
but,
Greg.
I mean, you could probably, yeah, oh yeah, it was all day. Oh, here goes high school golf
That's
guy.
a notch above junior B, eh?
Shank. Like, yeah. You know it was a 4-man team.
Almost made it.
It was a 4-man team. They only had 2 players. Like nobody else wanted to play on Brelando's high school golf team. Anyway, our EST Golf Classic hats that Maddie Wannick had made with our partners at High Product Marketing Products that bring the buzz.
To which Tommy lost his. Let's just get it on the record as well.
How about Tommy
He's
at
crushed.
Oilstream yesterday when I was
Crushed.
like, how are you doing last night? And he's like, oh, I went to bed like 9:30. I said, you should have gone to bed at 4. And he's like, why? What do you mean? I was fine. I was like, come on, you can't honestly believe you were fine yesterday. You cried for like 2.5 hours.
And the next time Pagnata's in town, we need his condo wired up.
Pagnata's-
We talk about cameras in here. I want the full deal. I want it all documented.
I'm refusing to allow Gazzola to hang out with Pagnota ever
on
again.
work nights. On work nights.
Yeah, on
Only
a work
weekends.
night.
Yeah.
Sorry, come in on weekends, Dave. That's it. Tommy can't handle work
It's
nights.
too much.
No, there's no chance. Tommy, after the tournament, happily cried for like 45 minutes, then instantly turned into a sad cry for about an hour and a half.
It was a relief. He relieved himself. It was a relief. I still don't get that angle, but
Oh, man. It was, what a beauty. What an absolute beauty. Anyway,
the hats.
Normology was like, man, I love a good hat with a rope on it. So it was anytime we saw anybody the whole day with a rope hat, it was like, what? And then Michael, who was in our group, pulled out like a golf hat that had like the rope coming down here. And it was like, Normology was like, oh, look at that rope on that hat. Like he was so excited.
Coolbet does the rope hat.
The
They
rope
got a
hat,
nice
yeah.
rope hat. It's
we
a
got
great game,
black
yeah.
and white Coolbet rope hats.
Damn, those
Now we
pop.
got the EST Golf Classic rope hat. Rope hat's in. Like
Now you got to put the string at the back to tighten it up like those. Remember that?
100%.
The drawstring.
with our rope hats right now, we could go down to Calgary and pretend to be a cowboy like everybody else for the next little bit. I would assume real cowboys must hate the Stampede.
Yes.
It's a bunch of dudes who are stock traders walking around in new boots that they bought at Lamley's earlier this week.
It's like watching soccer when it's these tournaments, right?
Yeah.
All these people pop up. I don't. Where have you been? Yeah. And then once it's over,
The entire
boots go in the
Stampede
closet.
is real cowboys saying to other cowboys, who the hell are you all of a sudden?
Yeah.
That's pretty much all it is. Let's lay out the show for you today. We'll get to your morning announcements.
Nothing.
Well, I'm still waiting.
I know.
I
I
might
like playing this game
legitimately
while we're on
have
the
to
show.
take a
Yeah.
call.
We're all involved.
while we're on the
Put her on the air.
while we're on the air, because it's yeah. Whatever. What am I gonna do? I don't know. Huss, come get me. Huss, can you if you
Remus
leave
would.
Winnipeg
Remus would.
now?
Yeah.
How long a drive is it to Winnipeg? What would it be? 14 hours?
From here, if
Yeah.
you're going on a nice track, I mean, you
I
got
just
to.
totally ballparked 14 hours.
I think it's like 12 hours.
12, that's not bad.
Somebody said a day and a half on the train.
That's actually not bad either. I could be there before kickoff. 12-hour drive. Because from here to Regina is what, like 7?
I'm seeing 13 hours, 24 minutes.
Yeah, but what's
again,
the
that's-
kilometers on
yeah,
that?
Yeah.
Does it have the kilometers on it?
1,304.6 via the Yellowhead. If
1,000.
you want to go straight as the crow. Unless you want to take a bit of a detoured approach, you can
I want to hit every A&W on the way.
Hit up the North Country. Oh, that'd be
All
great.
right, let's take some of these GCs here and just have a whistle dog in 9 different cities.
Get a sticker book, stamp
Stop
book.
it in Weyburn and see my buddy Boom. Like, make a real trip of it. That'd be nice.
Well, you in Suits. I think one game, maybe during the season, you plan that. TSN could give you a bit of spending money and you document the whole thing.
I'd prefer to just fly in the air.
Sinead could join you.
We'll see what happens on that front. The Edmonton Oilers. ESPN Hockey. What do they know, right? They've got the Edmonton Oilers number 2 in their power rankings.
Wyshynski!
I says, pardon? This would not happen on Wyshynski's watch. He's on paternity leave.
Yeah, he had that bump to get him up to 1. But
Yeah. So anyway, we'll dive into that. I think they just took the lame way out and took the current champions and put them at number 1. The current champions who lost a couple of their defensemen.
Yeah, like it's not the same. Like you can't.
You can't just say the Stanley Cup champions are automatically the best team in the league going into next year. Are you completely ignoring the offseason? What is this? Freaking amateur hour?
The team that really didn't change in his retooling.
And
That's the team, yeah, and added to what they had. So, no subtractions there. I mean, a few. but
Maybe
not-
the ESPN hockey folks have never heard of a little man named Jeff Jackson.
Oh, they will.
You know it.
They will.
We'll get to that. We've got some tickets to the Hlinka Gretzky U18s coming up early August right here in Edmonton. We're going to give those tickets away before 7 o'clock. Dave Naylor's going to pop by. Some great matchups. Some great matchups in the Canadian Football League this weekend. You're going to love it.
Maybe squeeze a little fantasy advice out of him. Yeah.
Think about this. We got rematches everywhere. Toronto, Montreal played recently.
That's a hot one, though. Those two teams, like I know 2-2 record and Duke's cooled off a bit, but I like both those defenses. Winnipeg,
Calgary,
Claire's
Winnipeg.
back. Clarence is back.
Rematch. And he returns for a game against the very team that knocked him out.
Well,
How
revenge
about
is
the
a
drama?
dish. Yeah, best served.
The drama. And then you get the unbeaten Saskatchewan Roughriders rolling into Vancouver on a Saturday night to take on the 4-1 BC Lions. What a game. What a time to be alive.
Defense that's had more turnovers than all the other teams, I think, combined at this point, almost it seems, up against that BC offense. See if Shea Patterson still has the goods. And, of course, the game of the week, Sunday at 5.
Edmonton, Ottawa.
I should say so. I think so.
The 0-4 Edmonton Elks, 3.5-point favorites at home against Ottawa.
Drew Brown, I know Naylor had some tweets on his injury status as well, dealing with the concussion symptoms or whatever. But you gotta like the Elks for you gotta.
This is it.
This is the one, man.
This
You've had a bye week. The start to the season it was with the opposition you faced.
This is the season right here. If you could, if it, in an 0-4 spot, coming off a bye week,
No one for a spot to which you played good football. You a play here or a play there. That record could be 500.
What was their-
Not making excuses. It's just that's
the record against teams they've played so far,
11-1. It was at the time.
It was. Argos have now lost 2.
Yeah.
So what is it? Like they played the best
12-2,
4 teams
yeah.
in the league. If they can't beat Ottawa at home on Sunday, I'll be shocked. If they play like they've played through the first 4 games of the year, they're going to win on Sunday. And it's Dino Day. There's going to be hilarious inflatable T-Rexes there. It's going to be a real good time. I saw MBT talking about dinosaurs on Twitter yesterday. This is great. It's going to be a lot of fun. You can get 4 tickets, 2 adult, 2 kids, 2 Dino Nug, like kids meals, 2 kids club memberships, gets you on the field after the game, and your tickets will be good for K-Days for $60.
That's the kicker. The
For
K-Days.
$60. Come on out. Enjoy the game. I think there's a pretty good chance you're celebrating a victory at Commonwealth on Sunday.
Or at least have a few of those receivers on your fantasy lineup, eh? Well worth it.
Well, I told you.
Good in fantasy, bad in reality.
You accepted this reality for me. I'm leaving the Riders defense on the bench in fantasy this week.
I would suggest if that game's in Regina, I could see
Little
you
bit
starting
different.
them. But
Out there
out
against
there in BC,
VA,
man, weird things happen in Vancouver in those games. Now 5 o'clock kickoff, not your 8:30s or whatever it is, but
the old-fashioned gunslinger, Vernon Adams Jr.
he's having the best season statistically thus far of any quarterback ever in pro sports.
He's slightly off pace of breaking Doug Flutie's all-time CFL passing record in one season. But there's no more good quarterbacks in this league.
Well,
Watch Vernon Adams Jr. play, man. You'll shut up immediately with your horrible takes. Let's get to this text right here. Jeff in YYZ. Not today, he isn't. Good morning, Nasties. From Yokohama, Japan. Ooh. EST represented for Thursday Night Baseball. The Yokohama Dena Bay Stars versus the Chinuchi Dragons. I think Huss was betting on the Chinuchi Dragons a lot during the pandemic. Anyway, he went to check out the baseball game, wore the EST hat. We got to put it on the map. Yokohama, Japan.
I think Chinuchi lost 3-2.
Heartbreaker.
But a close one. I mean,
That's why you're the sports update guy.
they're only 35-41. That DNA 42-37. Huss did say, it sounded like a dragon guy, hey? Huss riding the dragon?
Oh, yeah.
That'd be.
He was loving baseball overseas during the pandemic. For a stretch there, it was all we had to bet on. Those were the days,
And
right?
Formula One is they've just introduced their 2025 sprint calendar, Dusty, here. Shanghai, Miami, Spa, Austin, Sao Paulo, and Qatar. It will be Gauging tomorrow, correct? Or Milne? Do we know?
I don't know who you're working with tomorrow.
Wouldn't mind on another race. These Fridays with Gage, he's got beer of the week. It's usually leading into a race weekend, right? Like he is built for the Friday show.
Yeah.
Too easy.
T. Wilson says $60 in this economy. They're basically paying you to attend. I mean, you're not going to be able to take your family anywhere for $60. I can't even go get Subway sandwiches for my family for less than $60. Now, Marshall does have a footlong. So that's 3 footlongs we're getting, and then a turkey wrap for the Muzz. But I'm gonna mix in a couple cookies. Right? And all of a sudden, yada yada yada. Subs are $13, $14 now. And all of a sudden it's $60. And then they're asking me to tip.
$10 for a 3-inch? Is that the new deal?
They're asking me to tip.
Red asks, what the hell is up with all these Sunday evening games for the Elks? Huh?
Yeah, how many do they have on the sked? I haven't even. I go week to week because of
that's
like my schedule and where I'm prepping for and what I'm working. So I don't.
Well, the Elks haven't been home either for what feels like an eternity here. I know YouTube Trev has aged years. You and Zach him since the last tailgate. I'm thirsting for one here. Sunday Red Blacks. It's a home and home. Edmonton will be in Ottawa Friday.
The Sunday Friday turnaround. MBT's gonna.
I think it's one of the handful of short weeks that they have today.
Yeah.
So yeah. You think you saw an angry dino with the impersonation? Eh? He's going to be all up in that.
All right, we do have a sports update coming up. We're going to get into the Edmonton. I mean, is it too much of a homer to take to say that the Edmonton Oilers should be number 1 in your power rankings? I don't think so.
If not, who?
I don't even care if it is.
The Leafs?
Apparently,
Tanev?
Apparently, the defending champions who just beat them.
It's not. That's not how.
Cool. Nice work, ESPN. Really edgy. Anyway, we'll get into that a little bit coming up. We got some tickets to the Hlinka that we're going to give away. You can text us anytime at 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. If you're watching over on YouTube, slide into the Nasty Chat. Hammer the thumbs up for us over there as well, working our way towards changing 100. Almost there. Sports Update with Lieutenant Eric. And, hey, if you want to move quickly, you want to request a little song on the way back in after the update, fire me a text, 780-218-9999. Loosey-goosey in the summer months. Also, I think we do have a draft. Tommy and I were talking about an oil stream yesterday. I think it's draft time. I think I know where we're going. And we'll get into that as we work our way through the show today as well.
Colombia advancing to the Copa America finals where they'll take on Argentina after a 1-0 victory over Uruguay. After the match, a number of Uruguayan players were seen fighting Colombian fans in the stands. Canada will face Uruguay Saturday at 6 in the third-place game. USA over Canada 86-72 last night down in Vegas in a Paris Olympics basketball primer. RJ Barrett, 12 points for Canada, while Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Dylan Brooks each had 10. The Paris 2024 games will be the first time since Sydney 2000 that Canada's women's and men's basketball teams will compete together at an Olympic Games. On the diamond, after taking the series opener, the Riverhawks fall 17-5 out in Wenatchee to the Apple Sox. That rubber match of the series goes later tonight as the Hawks find themselves a game and a half back of Wenatchee for tops in the North. Hawks are back home Friday, July 19th when they host Springfield. The Prospects, they drop a 13-6 decision to Lethbridge down in Sherwood Park. Prospects travel to Medicine Hat to take on the Mavericks this evening. First pitch, 7:05. Blue Jays take it 10-6 over the Giants as Ernie Clement hit a 3-run dinger for the second night in a row. The rubber match will go later this afternoon. Kevin Gosman starts first pitch, 1:45. And Week 6 kicks off tonight in the CFL from Montreal when the undefeated Alouettes host the Argonauts. Elks back home to host Ottawa Sunday at 5.
Daddy. Daddy. Okay, here we go. Daddy. 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 Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Daddy. Daddy. Okay. I don't give a damn. Daddy likes. Daddy. Daddy.
Drysdale, the duck hunter.
Daddy likes.
Drysdale the Duck Hunter. Some of the best
Takes me back.
from Jim Hewson back in the day. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. It's the Nielson Show presented to you by Southfort Chevrolet. Somebody was asking for this as well. Why not?
Ed.
Oh, man. Can you imagine a world where Mikko Koskinen actually got shutouts?
Man.
Like,
I
we
think
got
played
so
that
much more out of that song.
We played it more in a joking manner than ever for real. That one night in San Jose, hey, sitting on that foldable chair out back behind the benches, right? Wasn't that a moment of his?
That
wearing
was
the
a big
cap?
one, yeah. Throwback Thursday, Mikko Koskinen discussion. Just kidding.
You got called out as well for the Rieder tease yesterday's.
Oh, you think I'm a coward?
We audibled with
You
us.
think I'm a coward? By the way, I wrote that song in Mikko's first year when he had 4 shutouts. After I wrote that song, he had 2 in the next 3 seasons.
There was a
combined.
buzz. There was a buzz. Hey.
So, I mean, sometimes you make a bet, you make an investment that just doesn't necessarily work out. And I'm not talking about the Oilers. I'm talking about us with the song.
Vernon Camus.
Vernon Camus. Man, I don't even know. I don't even know where the Toby Rieder song is. I don't even think. I don't
Just
even,
like the player, invisible.
I'm inside
Yeah.
the Nasty Club. I'm looking for it. I thought Maddie had it in here.
Probably exclusive.
If you are a Nasty Club member, you have. Oh, there it is. If you're a Nasty Club member, and you can get more on the Nasty Club, go to EdmontonSportsTalk.com, click on Nasty Club. You have access to like all these songs. I see the Josh Archibald song just sitting there too. But I did say I was going to play this one yesterday. This is for. This is probably our biggest example of jumping the gun on something.
A flop.
Considering he played 67 games for the Oilers and never scored a goal. But we still had this song for him because we were ready. I mean, it's important to be prepared.
He signed in the summer to a one-year deal. We got all excited, cause it seemed like a steal. His name is Toby. T-O-B-Y, Toby. He shoots a lot of pucks, but he can't seem to score. We hope for 12 goals and then maybe some more. His name is Toby.
12 goals.
T-O-B-Y, Toby. Ta-ta-ta-ta-Toby. Well, he's not the team's most physical guy, but he really wants to score. He's got that look in his eyes. His name is Toby. Ta-ta-ta-ta-Toby. Well, I'm not dumb, but I can't understand when Bobby Nix blamed the season on this one man. His name is Toby.
Oh, yeah.
Ta-ta-ta-ta-Toby. Ta-ta-ta-ta-Toby.
Tobias Rieder, goal song for you. All our songs brought to you by our partners over at Sportball. Put your kid in Sportball right now. Summer programs, obviously, some of those already underway, but it's time to start planning for the fall. I mean, if you're a parent, you know what we're talking about. Find a night that works for you. Get your kids involved in Sportball. www.sportball.ca to take a look at that fall registration. I obviously wrote that after Bobby Nix. I kind of hung a bit of it on Toby Rieder.
Yeah, he was one of the many to blame.
I mean, what are you going to do? You can't win them all, I guess.
If he just would have hit. Not a lot, just a bit.
We hope for 12 goals and maybe some more. The expectations weren't that high. I think that would have been the second highest of his career. But
I like when you change the, well, I'm not the world's most physical guy to, well, he's not the world's most physical guy. Just
Easy
a
peasy.
master lyricist here.
Thanks, man.
I tell you.
I work hard on some of these lyrics. When I get into a zone, I can write one of these things in like 2.5 hours.
I think you call it dialed in, eh?
Dialed
You're locked in. You're
Dialed
kind of,
in.
yeah.
I'm like Anthony Edwards last night, putting up 13 points against Canada. If you're watching over on YouTube, let's change 100. We appreciate that this morning. If you're not yet subbed, feel free to sub to the channel as well. But we said it, the ESPN hockey, and this is, to me, this just goes to show, Wyshynski would never stand for this. If Greg Wyshynski from ESPN wasn't on paternity leave right now.
He would have provided that Toby Rieder difference, that slight difference that would have gotten it. That's what Nicholson was talking about there.
So here are and they describe them as way too early power rankings in the National Hockey League for next year. Florida Panthers, number 1 on the list. Defending Stanley Cup champions. I mean, if they were running the team back, I'd understand out of a sure sign of respect.
Yeah.
Now, and you could also look at the point that if they weren't there, all 40 of their fans would get pretty fired up, I guess.
Well, and they have like a couple line reasoning here, and retaining Sam Reinhart and extending baby Barkov Anton Lundell, I guess, is what got them to the number 1. Along with several other moves, it says.
Here's their blue line right now. Like, this is a team that just signed Adam Boquist.
Number 1.
Ekblad Forsling, Mikola Kulikov. They brought in Nate Schmidt. They've still got Jacob Megna. And there's really not much else going on there. OEL gone. Brandon Montour gone. How can you, the Florida Panthers they're not improved.
Well, they're not gearing up for a run here. That's what I would suggest by reading those,
Now they managed to keep Reinhart. They still have Kachuk and Barkov and Lundell. One more year of Sam Beckett. One more year of Verhaeghe. Still a really good hockey team. Don't get me wrong. but they're not as strong as they were. The Oilers appear to be better than they were last year.
And
On
much
paper,
hungrier.
they're better.
Much hungrier. You got to.
Hungrier.
Come on.
And lost in Game 7 of Le Coupe de Stanley finale. Like, I don't know how you cannot have the Edmonton Oilers at number 1 on the power rankings right now. Unless you think OEL and Montour were
Passengers
as
along the
useless
way.
as a piece of poop on a log. Like, so I don't know. It's so weird to get fired up over something that's described as the way too early power rankings. But even their descriptions, like you said, you have the Panthers line again.
It's just, well,
It's an inaccurate. It's an inaccurate opinion.
They have about a paragraph written up for each team, 4 to 5 lines here. But yeah, Reinhart, Lundell, that's what they're kind of zeroing in on here. The Nashville Predators, who, again, made moves. Like they, in terms of a way too early ranking, you could argue, okay, what were they? And, they were creeping up the wild card and everything. But the offseason moves they made thus far, I think, have been, very, aside from the Oilers, I mean, they made moves. They come in at 8th. So I'd love to see the scoring cards, I guess, on these and how they determine and weigh the points of who re-signs, who you lose, and how important that is. But it's got us talking, and I guess that's the whole point of these exercises.
Well, this is why I can't put any stock into what they're doing over here. Here's their write-up for the Edmonton Oilers. Okay, like basically,
the first line is
look, so Florida Panthers are 1, Oilers are 2, Stanley Cup winner, Stanley Cup loser. Let's just say it. And then they've got the Dallas Stars and the New York Rangers,
the two conference,
who are the 2 conference finalists. And then after that, they've got 3 teams that lost in the second round. So whoever did this just looked at the Stanley Cup bracket and was like, "Oh, we'll just put these teams in the exact same order they just finished in." Great list.
Avs, Canes, Bruins, they all lost in the second round, 5, 6, 7. You've then got the Preds, who lost in the first, above the Canucks at 9, who lost in the second. So, Canucks fans.
Here's the Oilers. This is the Oilers write-up. If you're wondering how in tune with what actually happened, ESPN is. GM Ken Holland,
a
future Hall of Famer,
to get that in there,
is out of the Oilers front office. But the club made some wise moves thus far this summer to give the team he helped build a strong chance at glory next spring. Re-upping with Adam Henrique and Matthias Janmark gives them 2 proven playoff performers, and inking Jeff Skinner following the veteran's buyout by Buffalo should ensure that he finally gets to skate in a playoff game. No mention at all of the guy they signed first, Victor Arvidsson.
I was going to say the McLeod deal, but yes, that too.
I mean, how do you not have Victor Arvidsson written in to the write-up for the Edmonton Oilers?
I think the best part in these 5 lines is GM Ken Holland, -S, future Hall of Famer. You got to get it in there. And then the final line, Jeff Skinner, following the veterans buyout by Buffalo, should ensure that he'll finally get to skate in a playoff game.
Cool.
That's what we're all buying in here for together, right?
The Edmonton Oilers are number 2 in the power rankings. Jeff
Yeah.
Skinner will play in the playoffs.
Thank God.
No mention. Like, how do you not automatically drop Jeff Jackson's name into that mix? It's more important to point out that Ken Holland, a future Hall of Famer, is out of the front office as opposed to Jeff Jackson is working a bloody masterclass.
Well, it says out of the front office, follows it up, but the club made some wise moves thus far. So who's
also,
are you going to credit the wise moves to somebody?
Show Bob Stauffer some love, you cowards. Like, unbelievable list.
Just throw the name in there at some point, eh?
And you didn't think we'd find hockey things to bitch about in the 6 o'clock hour on July 11th. Come on. This is it.
Who do we got at the bottom just for
can I guess?
S's and gigs?
I never looked further down the list because it sucks the big one.
Give me your bottom 3.
Well, San Jose.
Yep.
Are they the last one?
Yep.
Okay. Who did next?
Do you want a hint? Do you want to use a lifeline? I'll give you a clue logo. They recently released a throwback new
Anaheim
version.
Ducks.
Yeah, boom. And then the final one, I think you can.
Is it out east?
There was a coach that recently was rumored to be joining them, but yesterday had to abort that mission because his former employer, the LA Kings, there was trouble
the
there.
Columbus Blue Jackets.
Boom, bam, bam.
Man, we are good at guessing games around here, aren't we?
Yeah. Habs 28, previous ranking also 28. Flames previous ranking 25, they're down to 27.
Wow.
So
that makes sense. They were very excited about the Ryan Lomberg deal.
Well, how can you not be?
Speaking of guessing games, last night it was fun. We sat around. My brother-in-law had his phone out. We had the speakers going. And we just played a bunch of different TV and movie theme songs and played Name That Tune. You had to guess what it was.
That's not bad.
That's a fun way to pass some time. We played it for like an hour and a half. Should have seen me when Quantum Leap popped up. I killed everybody.
You popped up.
It was the best. It was good.
T. Wilson Nasty Chat says the Buffalo write-up doesn't even mention McLeod either, so two-pronged.
Well, looks like McLeod might not be that much of a difference maker. YouTube Trev, your thoughts on your beloved Edmonton Oilers sitting number 2
second?
on the power rankings?
Yeah, it's kind of silly. Just looking at it here, it's logical that the Cats remain number 1 spot, having just won the first title in franchise history. But it's like you're basing it off of last season, and this clearly states like this upcoming season, they lose Brandon Montour, who had a career year there 2 years ago, who's just been huge when Ekblad's gone down. OEL was like, it was nice to see him. He struggled last year, but this year being his first year with the Panthers, he actually brought it back a little bit. So, but those are huge pieces that that have left. They've jumped ship, and then Vladimir Tarasenko as well. So yeah, I mean,
mention.
No mention in that as well. So no, I don't. But like the Oilers have added significantly. The Panthers have lost significantly. This is brutal.
If you were going to run these two teams, like, I wish we could make it happen. I wish Daryl Cates had the money to have mid-July best-of-7 Stanley Cup rematch post-free agency. Because I'm taking the Oilers in 5 or 6.
A clean-shaven one-off, eh?
Right? Let's play it right now.
Get married on the weekend. We'll play this game on Wednesday, and away we go.
There you go. So that's a thing right now. We're going to get into something else I saw yesterday. This is going to excite you Oilers nerds out there. Broberg offer sheet. How good is that? That's 3 weeks of content right there. Well, we'll dive into that juicy apple at some point as we work our way through the show. You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, or over on YouTube, Changing 100. Excellent. Let's keep hammering that. Let's keep hammering that thumbs up. This text is in from RBM and says, guys, the quote is, I don't put any stock into the way too early power rankings. Also, Dusty, how can you not drop a Jeff Jackson in there?
Yeah, we will. I mean, Oilers fans can take this, put it in their pocket, and use this anger and disappointment all throughout this is something now to chew on. This is something to prove. It's good that you've been ranked 2 because now you can be mad about it
Motivation.
and use this as the motivator. Exactly.
If there's one thing we know about this Edmonton Oilers team, they like to get motivated.
They have to be
when
motivated.
People slight them. And has there ever been a bigger slight than being number
way
2
too early.
in the ESPN? Likely without Wyshynski, way too early, July 11th power rankings.
Should probably hit this too, the engagement this morning. You're seeing a bit of that here. Dave Jameson sending me a DM, a few other people on Twitter as well, and I do believe in the Paris Jewelers inbox, but Leon and Celeste are engaged. So how will this affect the next deal? 780-218-9999.
Oh, baby.
Oh, baby.
Oh, baby. Things just got juicy, didn't they?
An engagement before the wedding.
Which of our current songs that we've ever done would be the best wedding song for Leon and Celeste? Your suggestions. We'll take them for a run.
It's getting hot.
It's getting hot. That was our wedding song.
The party dances down the aisle.
Does this impact the deal? Listen, if you're going to get engaged to an Edmonton Oiler, you have to be planning to marry an Edmonton Oiler. And if you're planning on marrying an Edmonton Oiler, you should be planning to spend the rest of your life in a house that'll be better than 99.6% of all the other houses in this wonderful city.
Yeah.
And I'd like to congratulate you on your next 10 years in Edmonton as Mrs. Drysdale.
Somebody gives them the heated driveway. Like, please, here. That's the...
How many of you grown men right now are jealous of Celeste? She gets to marry Leon.
I know my wife will be hugely disappointed when she finds out the news, but
she was still holding on. She was still holding on.
Oh, aren't they all? Hey,
that'd be great for Edmonton sports talk. Lieutenant Eric's marriage has collapsed. Why? His wife's leaving him for Leon Draisaitl.
She doesn't have to leave. We can all. It's 2024.
I don't want to say exactly what Fraze's thing was, but remember what Fraze always wanted to do back in the day, just for ratings.
Well, Doug Waite, didn't his wife love Waite?
Well, his wife loved Dougie Waite, but I was talking about the Taylor Hall thing. Remember, Fraser was always like, you remember when we can't even say it here. Trev, I'll tell you after, off the air.
Maybe Fraser can regale us in the hangout one of these days again when he returns, but...
Oh, look, I've got a flight now.
Put her on the air.
I'm flying to Winnipeg. I'm flying to Vancouver first.
You're doing the milk. Yeah.
Then I'm
was it
going.
the
Then I'm
milk run?
going to Winnipeg. But I can't check in for my flight yet for some reason. This is going to be an awful day. Whatever. At least Leon Draisaitl engaged.
Wife says, I love Stuart Skinner, not Leon. That's BS. Every time he's on TV, it's quiet. The interviews.
Can I don't
You'll
want
have them all, and that's fine. I don't care. It's
Danny, we love you, but I'm going to throw this out there. Somebody who absolutely really does love Leon Draisaitl would totally try to throw her husband off the scent of the Leon Draisaitl conversation. I would have done the exact same thing.
And again, I
can't
don't care.
even blame you.
I'm all for everything. Stuart, Leon, bring them all over.
All right, 780-218-9999. Congratulations to, a conch.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the main reasons they did it. A conch for Leon and his lovely lady. Penner's Pancake says, if Leon takes a discount, we could start an EST GoFundMe to heat the driveway.
Yep. Hampton Steve says, aspiring actress fiance. That has never resulted in a star Oiler leaving for a California-based club before. There's a history here with that type of...
Yeah, but you know how many good movies are filmed in Edmonton now?
Even Vancouver.
None. I mean, no, there's really none. I wish. You know what Daryl Cates needs to do? And I believe he's dabbled in some of the video
the
production
film. He's
in the
no
past.
stranger to film. Yeah.
Needs to launch a production company here in Edmonton.
Just a studio.
And
in
just
Ice District.
get jobs for people.
Yeah.
And, that's a good idea.
In Ice District. Why not?
In
You
Ice
have it all
District,
down
right?
at Ice District.
Why not?
Everybody's there. The families are there. Everybody's happy. Kids
That's
running
something
around.
you could also do. You could also have some fun with that. All right. If you like the fact that Leon Draisaitl's engaged, hammer the thumbs up on YouTube. We do have tickets to give away to the Hlinka Gretzky tournament that is happening in August. Myself and Craig Button getting to spend 6 days together, calling 14 games in 6 days. I didn't realize it was 14 games. I say yes to like everything they ever offer me. I'd go call cornhole in Olds if they needed me to.
Probably prefer it.
But I didn't know it was 14 games in 6 days. It's a lot of action. Anyway, there's a lot of it's the best U18 hockey players in the world rolling in. Hlinka Gretzky tournament. Single tickets start at just $20. Family and friends can take advantage of the classic Me Plus 3 4-pack offer. Pay for 3 tickets, and the 4th is free. You can hop on Ticketmaster to find these. You can go to Hlinka Gretzky, the Hlinka Gretzky website to get your hands on those as well. We do have a 7-game ticket pack that we're going to give away right now. This is not like you qualify to go into a draw. You can win this right now. Just text in to YouTube, Trev. Text in nuptials. Text in, because that's what they do, right? Your nuptials at the wedding, I think it's called.
Yeah. Not to be confused with the old prenup.
No. Man, I wonder about prenups.
Postnup.
Like, if you truly love someone,
It's an awkward...
even if you're rich, you shouldn't sign a prenup, because then you're thinking like, well, there's a chance this doesn't work
Well, you're
out.
assuming.
Yeah.
I guess at that point, like, I get insurance and everything, but...
I remember when Tammy asked me to sign a prenup. I was like, I don't want all that Catholic school district money
What would
that you're
you do?
making. Like,
You don't trust yourself with
yeah.
that bag.
So text in nuptials. I technically don't even know how to spell
Not
that.
a clue. Trevor, can we get it on the screen? I was going to ask you.
Can I try to
Yeah,
spell?
actually, give it a shot here.
Okay,
Let's
I'll try to spell
country of origin. You know that whole.
Yeah, can you use it in a sentence? Text in nuptials right now to 780-218-9999. NUPTIALS?
Bing. No, the bing means you're wrong, right? The silence means you're right.
I want to hear nothing. Quiet.
Yeah.
NUPTIALS.
Nuptials.
And he's moving on to the next round.
Should have fainted.
Nuptials. Text nuptials to 780-218. It's a funny word when you say it that many times.
It kind of is. Even when you look at it, it kind of looks dirty. I just...
The inbox is about to be hilarious. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Trev will draw one of you, and you will end up winning tickets. 7-game pack. Trev, send me that info once you pick it up, and I'll send it over to the Hockey Canada folks. Speaking of hockey, want to plug this. We've been so busy with playoffs. We haven't got to this as much as we wanted, but we've teamed up with Northern Edge Athletics, and these are our Green Plant buddies, Davin and the crew over there. And they are hosting a street hockey tournament, a charity street hockey tournament. And we want to get, there's only room for 16 teams. We want to get a bunch of nasty teams in here. All right. So it's going to be a good time. It's not going to be like a bunch of hardos who are trying to make the national team and play with Tony Brown.
We don't need Will out there.
It's not what it is. No, Will.
Bring in the heavy.
Actually, we should bring Will in
just to establish.
Just watch around and monitor fair play.
The old watchdog.
That would be good. It's going down August 23rd and 24th at the Ritchie Community League. 2 days, 4-on-4 street hockey tourney. The goalie, 3 players. Teams of 9 is what you will register. This will get you a shirt. It'll enter you in for the door prizes. It'll get you into the skills competition, and it'll get you a package featuring a skate sharpening at Northern Edge Athletics and more. All teams will play 3 round robin games, 4 playoff games for a total of 7 games between the 2 days. 2 games will take place between 6 and 10 on Friday, then the remaining 5 games on Saturday. So it's a Friday evening, Saturday day event. August 23rd, August 24th. You can hop online to northernedgeathletics.com/tourney, or you can just go to edmontonsportstalk.com and click on Charity Street Hockey Tournament and find out more info over there. We're going to be supporting the food bank. It should be a pretty good time. I think we're going to have a tent set up there. There's going to be a beer garden, so you can have a lot of fun. And, it's going to be a good time. So grab some of your buddies, get some guys from the rec league team, get some girls from the rec league team. August 23rd, August 24th, Ritchie Community League. It is the Northern Edge Athletics Charity Street Hockey Tournament presented by Edmonton Sports Talk, and we would love for you to be there. I think Zacticum wants to be on a team.
Just going to say, Zach and I will be on a team.
You are going to be on a team.
Glue Guy is on that team.
Glue Guy's on the team, too.
And
I have a CFL thing, so I'm not sure. If I was around, I'd be on the team for sure.
Glue team.
But I think I have a CFL game on the Friday night somewhere. So.
Yeah, we're going to try and get Tommy on. I think I'm going to ask Paulie as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, Paul will play.
Yeah. Paul's pretty good at
ball hockey. I
Couple ringers.
I heard he's very passionate about ball hockey, Paulie.
I've heard the same thing.
Well, that'll be a lot of fun. I'm jealous of you. You put Zacticum between the pipes.
That's what I'm thinking, eh?
It'll be in smash match.
Yeah.
Here comes the ball. I got to make a save.
This is the best I've ever played in net.
Or Roman check mannequin there. Hey?
Oh, yeah, we're stand-up style only. All right, let's get to a sports update for Green Plan with Lieutenant Eric. Dave Naylor on the other side is 7 o'clock here. We'll set up what should be a great weekend in the Canadian Football League. We'll talk about the season that VA's putting together. Like, this is an all-timer. Like, you have to watch Vernon Adams Jr. He's having a phenomenal campaign. So we will get into that as well. You sent the link to Dave. He'll be so Dave will be hopping on just after 7 o'clock here today as well. Might even dabble in a little bit of an Elks ownership update with
why not?
with Naylor.
Always fun when Dave joins the video link, eh?
Oh, it is.
It's always a little interesting.
Who knows where he is?
Exactly.
You never know. All right, you do this update. I'm going to go take a leak, and then we'll talk to Dave Naylor.
Let's go. On the pitch, Colombia advanced to the Copa America finals, where they'll take on Argentina after a 1-0 victory over Uruguay. After the match, a number of Uruguayan players were seen fighting Colombian fans in the stands. Canada will face Uruguay Saturday at 6 in the third-place game. On the hard court, USA over Canada 86-72 last night down in Vegas in a Paris Olympics primer. R.J. Barrett, 12 points for the Canadians, while Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Dylan Brooks each had 10. The Paris 24 Games will be the first time since Sydney 2000 that Canada's women's and men's basketball teams will compete together at an Olympic Games. On the diamond, after taking the series opener, the Riverhawks fall hard out in Wenatchee to the Apple Sox 17-5. The rubber match of that series goes later tonight as the Hawks find themselves a game and a half back of Wenatchee for top spot in the North. Hawks are back home Friday, July 19th when they host Springfield. Prospects, meanwhile, they drop a 13-6 decision to Lethbridge from Sherwood Park. Prospects hit the road. They're in Medicine Hat tonight to face the Mavericks. First pitch, 7:05. Blue Jays 10-6 victors over the Giants as Ernie Clement hit a 3-run dinger for the second night in a row. Rubber match of that series goes later this afternoon. Kevin Gausman gets the start. First pitch, 1:45. And Week 6 kicks off tonight in the Canadian Football League. From Montreal, the undefeated Alouettes hosting the 2-2 Argonauts. Elks back home to host Ottawa Sunday at 5. Sports update brought to you by Green Plan. providing you with award-winning environmental planning and consulting service. Whether it's municipal, industrial, or residential, plan it right with Green Plan. Visit green-plan.com or give them a call at 780-455-4292.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
.702 on the Nielson Show. Fun little show we got cooking up here. I like the vibe today. I think that fan is really changing things.
Our
for
only
us.
fan, hey?
I'd say, so we got 3 fans at home, and I was going to load them into the truck today, but I didn't want to wake everybody up because there's so many people sleeping in my house right now. I was like, well, you know what? We'll just suck it up today. But I think that little fan, it's like that little engine. You're like, oh, you'll never be able to pull this train up the mountain. And he's like, I think I can. I think that's that fan today.
Yeah, I'm on the fan.
The
cam
little
as
engine
well.
that could.
Yeah.
I actually took that fan home with me yesterday.
Did you really?
I added it to the collection.
So what, did you sit down and just put it right in front of your face?
Yeah, I put it like.
And did you
right
go like this? Whoa.
I didn't do that.
Rick, you should bring that over and do the talk into it thing.
Wonder if
Let's see if it works.
strong enough. Yeah.
I don't know if it's strong enough. I can take it. I got it plugged into an extension cord. So bring it right over here and let's see. Put the mic behind it and see if it picks up on the other side of it.
Oilers number 2, ESPN, Greg Wyshynski. There's a bit of a cut.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Not that great, though. Anyway, it was fun to try it, wasn't it? All right, you can text us anytime. Parachuters inbox 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Somebody's calling me from Phoenix, Arizona right now.
Must have to do with the CFL travel.
You think that's the travel?
I don't know.
Well, it may be.
Pick it up.
I can't pick it up. We're on the air.
Yeah, but
I can't. We're
Edmonton
working.
Sports
I
Talk,
told
yeah.
them I was working. They can't get a hold of me right now. Tube Sucks is in. It says, guys, when do we start winning our way into the Nasty Bash? I do believe Monday that'll start.
And we'll be about 2 weeks out, right? We're just over
2 weeks out.
Yeah.
So we'll
Perfect
just
timing,
hammer
yeah.
out invites for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then July 26th, mark it on the calendar, Nasty Bash. We'll give you all the details on how you can start getting in on Monday. And we're going to try to pack as many people as we can into the St. Albert Rugby Club so we can get to the 6 o'clock lager baptisms. And it'll be a lot of fun. There'll be early birds flying around that place like crazy that night. So we're very much looking forward to that. Okay, so Uruguay, was that a Liverpool guy who went into
Darwin, my boy, Darwizzy.
Yeah, you were loving this guy, right? Weren't you?
Yeah, he's a
you
striker.
mentioned him yesterday.
Yeah,
like,
he's an interesting case, not without controversy surrounding him both on and off the pitch. But I guess the story was Colombia, who had a larger contingent there than Uruguay fans and family. Later on in the match, the alcohol was being dished around. Lack of security, which to me is the story. You had 2 years ago a riot in Mexico as well, and fan deaths and tramplings and such. This was not a good look. It's a semifinal. It's 2 rival nations. I mean, they love their football, their soccer. And, I mean, we've seen the United States crack down on a lot of other things, I guess, when it comes to security and policing in more tight-fisted ways. That's a concern for the World Cup. I think Copa America and everything like that, the tournament held in the United States, this is a bit of egg on the face here. But Darwin Núñez in the stands with a couple other players as their families were getting harassed a bit by people in the stands as well, drinking from the Colombian side. So not a good look all around. I'm sure a few suspensions will be dished out, albeit internationally for these players, not so much for their clubs. But for the third-place game that Canada will play now against Uruguay,
good point.
one of these top stars probably won't factor in.
well, they can't, right?
No,
If you're-
you can't. I mean, I look, if your family's up there, I don't have kids, but you see your family in the stands, like you're running down, right? Like there's nothing stopping you, really.
No, I mean, anytime it's my family. I mean,
it's family.
I probably let my
Familia, right?
family sitting in a safer spot.
So,
but
well, sure, but
mind you, you're attending a sporting event. You shouldn't have to worry about it. But like to me,
but this isn't a regular like North American get
Yeah.
your popcorn
Well,
and hot
that's
dog
why-
and sit down and shut up. This is big, and I think for the authorities, they're on hand. I mean, that was some work to do ahead of the World Cup here, I would say.
let me, like, if this was at an NBA game or an NFL game.
It's never
I
happened
think
in hockey where players
well,
jumped into the stands and fought fans, right? Right?
Well, it has. But I just, that this would be a massive, 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 massive story today. But I feel like because it's soccer, we're just like, classic soccer.
Well, it's funny. It's coming off the heels of like, oh, what a wimpy, a guy gets kicked and diving and all this, and now there's an actual fist fight between players and fans, and that's not that tough.
Well, it's good news for Canada, though.
Absolutely,
I think that's a positive spin you put on this.
Yep.
Great news for the Canadians.
Absolute.
Great news for the Canadians that Uruguay is going to be missing a few of their players because they got in a fight in the stands. The Nielson Show is brought to you by South Fort Chevrolet, closer than you think. Since 1983, short drive to Fort Sask is worth it to find the best deal at the best price. Go to dealership for Silverado 1500s heavy duties. Family-friendly, stress-free experience. Check out their website, www.southfortchev.com, and go see Daniel and his team at South Fort Chev. Tell them we sent you, and you get 15% off accessories on your new ride. We're talking running boards and other things that you could accessorize on your truck as well. YouTube Trev's getting Dave Naylor connected. We got a lot to discuss. It's a great week in the CFL. Like these matchups, we got a couple of rematches. We got the Riders and the Lions, and again with the Elks coming off a bye week, looking to avoid a disastrous 0-5 start. So there's lots to discuss with Dave Naylor from TSN, Football Insider over with TSN. He pops by on the show this morning. Naylor, good morning. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, good morning, Dustin. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I don't think I hyped up the week too much, did I? Like, this is, you got Calgary, Winnipeg, Colaris is back, the Argos and Alouettes, a little rematch from a couple of weeks ago, and then obviously Lions Riders are going to be a big one, and obviously here in Edmonton, we're fired up for that Ottawa-Edmonton game. So week 6 is kind of coming up nicely here, I think.
You know, sometimes I hear people say the first third of the CFL season really doesnn't matter, and the real season starts after Labor Day, and I always think, man, you should talk to the coaches and GMs and see how they say about that. And I think for me, actually, the first third of the season is kind of the most compelling because it's when you learn what teams are and what they aren't. And you know, on an individual basis, you learn that about a lot of players and new situations and new players to the league. But it's really about, like, when you rhyme off those lists of games, I'm going to know a lot more about every one of those teams by Monday than I do today. Every one of those matches will be significantly revealing. Just take the Ottawa-Edmonton match.
Yeah.
It probably is like the marquee matchup of the week, right? But think of the difference of wins and losses for either of those teams. Like, Ottawa just had its quarterback knocked out of a game. They're a team that just seems to be one step forward, one step back, one step forward, one step back. The last time they went to Edmonton, they ended their 22-game home losing streak. If they come home from Edmonton with a loss, like, that's a very different feeling than being 3-2. And as you said, the Elks trying to avoid an 0-5 start. An 0-5 start, which has been characterized by one game that they led, an 0-4 start that has been characterized by one game that they led by 10 points in the fourth quarter, and the other 3 that they've dropped by three points to quality teams. And I mean, when I say quality teams, I mean on the road at BC, on the road at Toronto, losing to the defending Grey Cup champs, who nobody's beat this season. So a lot hangs in the balance this weekend. I agree.
Dave, apologies. Dusty had to get a call. He's negotiating his trip out to Winnipeg to call that Bombers Stamps game, so we have to excuse him for a second. I just wanted to keep on the Elks Ottawa Redblacks game. You had some news on the quarterbacking. I know Drew Brown took a hit last week, the concussion protocol. Where are we in on that? I know you had a tweet out limited practice, but it'll most likely be Crum that we see here under center for Ottawa on Sunday?
You know, I'm just going by gut instinct here, and this is not scientific, and obviously I am not trained in this or any of that. So, and I don't like to speculate blindly, but I'll just try to go from some facts we know. When Drew Brown came out of that game, he wasn't he wasn't in the locker room for the entire game. He was watching the game in the second half, which, you know, it just gives you some indication that you know, he's not in terrible shape at that game. He held him out. He's not playing, but he's not in the locker room. He hasn't been taken to hospital. He's standing there watching the game on the sidelines. Then you have the fact that Ottawa catches a break because that was a Friday night game and this one is a Sunday night game. So, if they've been on one of these 5-day turnarounds or 4-day turnarounds that we've seen, that this is a totally different thing. They got 9 days between games. So I think that makes it much more reasonable that he's prospectively going to play. And then the fact that he was at practice. Yesterday was day 1 for the Red Blacks. It wasn't day 3. It was day 1. That's the first time they practiced since their loss in Winnipeg, and he's out there on the field. And limited is kind of what I think you would understand would be part of sort of the protocol, given that he was coming through. So, again, I don't know if he'll play, and I think his appearance and participation in practice today would be very significant towards that, even though the game's still 3 days away. But let's just say I will not be surprised if Drew Brown is the one slinging the football for Ottawa Sunday night in Edmonton.
Dave Naylor joining us from the CFL on TSN. Just said, Dusty, as well, not surprised if Drew Brown is slinging the football Sunday. So
I
an update on
apologize, Dave. Did you tell him why I had to leave?
I filled him in as best as I could, but maybe you'd like to fill us in more.
I was on a direct flight to Winnipeg today for the Bombers game tomorrow. It got canceled this morning, so I had to take that call because now I'm flying to Vancouver in 2 hours and then turning around and flying across the country back to Winnipeg. So... I had to take that call, so I apologize. It was, you know how it works. I couldn't miss that one. Yeah. That was the difference between getting there.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys are talking Drew Brown. There's a chance that he ends up playing. Okay.
If I could, one more for you, Dave, here, and talking on quarterbacks, and I know we've spoken enough about Vernon Adams Jr., maybe not enough, as the numbers he's putting up are unreal. 4-1 are the Lions. Shea Patterson as well entering the chat last week. Thought he had a tidy game for his first career start, albeit that Rough Riders defense, showing up. And that's kind of where I'm going with this one, right? It's that Riders D up against the explosive track meet offense of the BC Lions in Vancouver, which I think gives them a leg up. But how do you kind of chalk up this tail of the tape?
Well, it's funny because, the Riders are 4-0, but it kind of doesn't feel like 4-0 just because they haven't really put anybody away, during the course of a game. I guess the second Hamilton game they sort of did. Yeah. But again, you're talking about Hamilton, an 0-5 team is the only team they've put any distance between themselves. But, their formula has been pretty neat, that they basically they keep it close. And then the fourth quarter, they flip the switch. They flick the switch on turnovers, and we've seen them. There's actually seems to be, as early as we are in this season, and this is obviously a team with a first-year head coach, but they've kind of developed a script for themselves how they win these games, and they're very athletic on the back end. And when they get teams forced down late in situations where they have to try to throw the ball, like Toronto did last week, they can really they can turn the script on you, and that's what we've seen week after week after week. It's Shea Patterson, I think the one thing about him you would say for last week is he got better as the game went along.
That's true.
Half versus Shea Patterson in the first quarter, and Shea Patterson, is an interesting guy. He was at the NFL Combine. I remember because I saw him there in 2020, and that's 4 years out of college. And he played a little bit in the USFL. And before that game the other night, he threw in 16 passes in his CFL career. So, for a guy who, started at Ole Miss and started at Michigan, he really hadn't a lot of professional playing experience. They got the run game going a little more than they have earlier in the season with A.J. Willett. He got off to a very slow start. But the big thing for the Riders for me is nobody can run against them. Toronto went into that game last week as the number 1 rushing team in the league. And Kadeem Carey got some gashes in the second half. But the first half, I think he was 6 carries for 9 yards or something like that. And if you can make teams one-dimensional, from the opening quarter and force them to throw when they'd rather be running, you're going to create some turnovers. And that's part of what, that's been the Saskatchewan formula. BC has had a real different dynamic with William Stanback. In fact, you look at that offense last year, that's really something that they were missing. And in the offseason, Stanback kind of fell to them, right? He had a bit of a bumpy party with Montreal. There were some conversations with Saskatchewan. They ended up going with Willett. And, Stanback, let's put it this way, BC didn't have to overpay for William Stanback. They're getting a good bang for their buck, and I think he's definitely put a different dynamic in their offense. And, you mentioned VA. It's funny, I was thinking about the quarterbacks in the league this year. VA and Cody Fajardo both playing at such a high level, and both guys have been kicked to the curb by other teams. It's just, it's amazing, when you see it. And it just shows you that sometimes when we hang it all on the quarterback, as we tend to do in this business and fans, or hang too much of it on the quarterback, guy goes to another team, goes to a different situation, develops a little wrinkle in his game he didn't have before, and all of a sudden, I mean, these two guys are playing, both of them, at an incredibly high level.
Dave Naylor with a CFL on TSN, and you're, I mean, both of them are playing outstanding. Maybe we get to Montreal and the vibe and the buzz in that city in just a second. But Vernon Adams, I mean, John Perlberg, one of our stats guys, sent out, he does these weekly stats. They're great. Sent one out yesterday talking about how he's like just off of Doug Flutie's all-time record pace right now. And I know it's early in the season, but when you watch that offense and he doesn't even have Keon Hatcher yet, I mean, I think are we starting to see the guy that we thought Vernon Adams could be coming out of college like 7-8 years ago? Because he looks like an absolute stud right now.
Well, I think there is, look, put it this way. Vernon Adams' rights were traded for a first-round pick before he ever hit the league, right? That was BC traded his rights to Montreal when Jim Popp was still the GM there. That alone tells you, kind of the excitement about his pedigree and skill set, because we don't see that very often, right? It's very hard to anticipate that a quarterback's going to be successful in this league when he's never been here, no matter what his college pedigree is. And so just the fact that his entry into the league was essentially being traded for a first-round pick showed you what the expectations were. And I think there's been flashes of this. For a while, we saw this in Montreal, but we never saw it consistently, week after week. And that, this term elite gets thrown out a lot. Is he an elite quarterback? We had this in the NFL all the time, the CFL. And I think really what defines elite quarterback to me is not that you are capable of making spectacular plays or having a spectacular game. It's when you hit that stage where the expectation is, no matter who the opponent is, every week you're expecting a guy to go off for 350 and 2 touchdowns and run for 50, like that kind of thing, where you just the numbers just kind of consistently week after week after week, your numbers are reflective of a certain standard of play, and that's where Vernon Adams has got to. And look, I think it's great for the league. I think it's great for the Lions, and I think it's great for Vernon Adams as a guy who's been pretty open and transparent about all it has taken to figure out this league. We don't talk about the things he's done in the offseason, paying to get players together. He seems just so at home in the West Coast. And I think you said it exactly, that this is the guy people have always imagined. And, I mean, this guy was converted to receiver and then released at one point in his career. So, I mean, it doesn't get much lower than that. I mean, that was in Hamilton under June Jones, right? When they had a crowded quarterback room. So, yeah, he's come a long way back, and boy, to have 2 quarterbacks in the league at the same time playing the best football of their careers, in a 19 league makes it pretty exciting. It's
gonna be fun to watch him go up against that Riders defense. I think Roland Milligan is one of the most special talents in the entire league. So I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. Now, you mentioned Cody Fajardo and the start that Montreal has had after they got hot last year, surprised a lot of us on their way to a Grey Cup, have picked up right where they left off. And by all accounts, and I don't go east of Winnipeg all season, but by all accounts, the buzz in Montreal right now around the Alouettes is phenomenal.
Yeah, and you can certainly see it and hear it in the stands. I mean, that stadium, remember, it was 20,000 for so long, and they expanded it to 25,000, and then they went into an era where they couldn't sell it out. They couldn't fill it. Some kind of disappointing crowds there. But no, there you can tell just, again, I haven't been to Montreal this season, but you can tell just watching the games on television, just the way that the presence of the crowds, and the fact is they keep winning, right? And look, it's a front running town, right? It is. It always has been in sports, whether we're talking whatever sport we're talking about, and the fact that they came from behind last week against Calgary, and not just gave the fans a win, but gave the fans a win that kind of brings them out of their seats. So I mean, it's amazing to see when you think of where that franchise was. I mean, a year and a half ago, the ownership was an issue. Free agents are going out the door. Danny Machocha doesn't know who he's answering to from day to day. And they put it all together with, again, if you look at, not only was Cody Fajardo a guy who'd been kicked to the curb, but kind of so had Jason Moss. I mean, he'd worn out his time in Edmonton, went to Saskatchewan as the OC, that didn't pan out. And yet, sometimes you just see there's a relationship there. And there is certainly between Danny Machocha and Jason Moss and Cody Fajardo, I might say. It was, I think it's been sort of well recounted that when Cody was benched in Saskatchewan, Jason Moss was not on board for that. He stood up in the meeting room for Cody and lost the argument. but then doubled down on him when he went to Montreal.
Worked out okay, I guess.
But it's funny you mention all those things in this market, Dave, that we cover, and I know you wanted to get the ownership here with the team.
Yeah.
But there's a familiar. I mean, things can get turned around quite quick in this league.
That's
and
a good. You're right. That's a good example of it, right? Start winning football games. Simple as that.
Lost 7 in a row to close the season last year. Won 4 in a row to open. So no, I think look, there are situations where it can take you a lot longer than that to dig out of it in the Canadian Football League. But the amount of roster turnover that you can create if you want to in the offseason of this league, and if you can land a quarterback or get your quarterback back healthy, the rise from sort of the middle or bottom tier, back up to the top half of the league is not always a very long one.
Dave, before I let you go, we did mention earlier that we were going to maybe dabble in the Elks ownership situation with you. I'm totally okay if you just text me in a couple weeks and go, okay, now's the time to get into it because something's going to happen. But where is it at? Right? Like, has anything changed in the last 2 or 3 weeks?
I think we're down to one of those things where the definition of done kind of becomes very loose.
Okay,
it's done. What does done mean? When you're down to short strokes, like the most recent information I have is that they were down to finalists, and basically working through that process. I don't. There were reports about an imminent announcement, I guess, like 2 weeks ago. None of my information lined up with that. I think they're still aiming for a late summer kind of Labor Day-ish, and that's frankly been the forecast since the process, or I would say since the start of the season. I think before the season there was a hope they might get it done before the season. Once it got going. And a lot of this had to do with the degree of interest, the number of groups they had to go through. It's been sort of a mid-season target, and I think that remains. And there's no real urgency to this one, right? It's not like the team is bleeding money beyond its reserves at this point, and you got to, there's questions about is there going to be an owner and is the franchise going to... None of those are part of the conversation. And that's why I think this has been a very quiet process. It's just everybody understands, okay, there's people that want to own this team. There's a board that is charged with selling it, or a committee on that board that's charged with selling it. Here's how long it's likely going to take. Let us know when it's done. And that's kind of where it is. But the one part of it is that I think has become a little bit more complicated is that because the Elks are 0-4, you could have a coaching change, right? And I understand because that involves a payout potentially on the books of the new owner, that conversation would involve to some degree the new owner, or the new would-be owner, or the new would-be owners. Like the board would not just act on Chris Jones without having a conversation with the prospective owners at this stage, from what I understand. So again, you can make the argument a couple of ways on Chris Jones. Like I say, 0-4. Milt Stiegel would tell you it doesn't matter. All it matters is they're 0-4. I would look at it, and I'm not trying to just, breathe positive waves in the direction of the Elks. 3 straight field goal losses, to good teams. So, they don't look like they're very far off to me. But, we'll see. This is a big one at home against, an Ottawa team that has not been, a terror of the league for a loss. Even though I think this is a good team. I mean, Ottawa's 2-2. They've had 2 losses that. One was horrible on the scoreboard, and one was, not pretty. But I don't, how sometimes losses speak to a team and you say, this is what they are, and you can see it in this loss. I don't really think either of those losses for Ottawa were losses that you would look at and say, this defines this team. I mean, I think with Drew Brown in the game last week, they might have won. I mean, it was a 1-score game right late in the quarter. And even the Montreal game, it was one of those weird things. It was like reverse serendipity. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. I mean, the only pick Drew Brown's thrown all season went off a receiver's hands. So he's done a really good job securing the football. And Montreal played, a perfect first half of football in that game. And so I don't think this Ottawa team is to be taken lightly. And I think if Edmonton does lose, it's not, like some people might perceive it as like, oh my God, we lost to the Ottawa Red Blacks. I think this is a decent Red Blacks team.
Well, it's going to be a fun one for sure. It's going to be a great weekend. And as always, Naylor, we appreciate the time, man. Thanks a lot.
Hey, I always love to join you guys. Enjoy the weekend.
There you go. Care. That's Dave Naylor, CFL on TSN. Great conversation around the Canadian Football League with Dave. Every time.
And I mean, I guess it's not the end of the world if they don't get a W, but the nature of it would be if you were to, I mean, if it's another 2-point down to the finals, I mean, that would be frustrating as hell. But you'd still argue the team is there and ready. But you don't want to take a couple steps back here. Coming off a bye. I mean,
I would argue that it is the end of the world if they lose because they go to 0-5. If they're 2-2,
the record is
lose to the Red Blacks. Sure,
you're not taking the
I
moral
get what you're
victories
saying,
now.
but
that's gone.
You got to win.
Yeah,
you have to win this football game. I see Alberta Shank over in the Nasty Chat says, "Let's hope the Esks lose another and another. This quarterback has proven he isn't a winner."
There's that hometown. Alberta Shank sounds like he's watched a lot of games. He or she.
There you go.
Well, that's the astute analysis there.
He is a strong believer in. If they change their name, they'll win all of a sudden again.
Iwanix burner account there.
Also, if you had watched any minute of this team this year, you would know that it's not their offense and their quarterback that's costing them football games. It's their defense, which is why in the bye week they went out and tried to address that by bringing in Sean Oakman and Moncrief, among others. So it's been their defense. All you have to do is watch a quarter of one game. You'll be like, oh, the Elks are a pretty good offensive team.
Yeah, MBT fourth in touchdown passes, fourth also in yards through the air. You're in some good company with those other quarterbacks up there.
Well, and he's at a bye week. Some of those guys haven't had a bye.
Factor that in as well.
So, yeah. I mean, when it's all said and done, if he stays healthy the entire year, he's going to finish top 3 in the league in passing.
And as you mentioned, certainly deficiencies on the defensive side. They went out during the bye week and addressed those. And so you like to see a little proactiveness from the club. But yeah, more going to an 0-5. We understood with the schedule release that the first 4 weeks would be tough. And here they are, albeit though you've had that bye. And again, Ottawa, I appreciate Dave's analysis, but yeah, they aren't viewed as the other opposition that you've had so far this season, nor should they be.
Oh, I'm excited for that game on Sunday.
Very fascinated.
Gonna be a good one.
But again, you can't. And he speaks of the ownership too. You can't order food without the table being set here. You need certain things in place, and I think that to the fan on the street, when you want to see something moving in the executive or the coaching or a move made, not just on the field, you might have to be a little more patient in that.
Jimmy Onishi says, do you guys think the Elks should target Jake Serezna? Well, last time I saw Jake Serezna, he had an ice pack on his shoulder. And they've got Gittins Jr. and then Sean Oakman now, who played at a level close to Serezna and then was replaced by Serezna. And now the Elks got him for nothing.
Funny how that works, eh?
Could end up being a real nice switch. It's basically Gittins and Oakman for Serezna, which you have to really like. All right, let's get to your cool bet hotline of the day. We'll stick to the Canadian Football League for this because there is a game tonight. I like the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
It's nice during the summer.
Like,
yeah, absolutely.
During the summer, I think it really works. You know, there's a CFL game on TSN every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The Alouettes tonight are 7-point home favorites against the Argos, minus 345 on the money line. The total in this game is set at 51.5. I think I want to go to player prop for the cool bet hotline of the day. Tyson Philpott.
Okay.
What a start to the season for Tyson Philpott. I've got his twin brother, Jalen, in Calgary on my bench in CFL Fantasy. I went in with the wrong Philpott this year.
Philpott.
You got it. Kills you when you go with the wrong Philpott. But Tyson Philpott, the total is set at 88.5 yards for Philpott.
Got any Reggie White Jr. numbers on there?
No Reggie White Jr. numbers. We got Kion Julian Grant. We got DeVaris Daniels. We got DeMonte Coxey. And we got Tyson Philpott.
DeVaris Daniels factors in, hey? Should I activate him? I also got him on my IR.
No, I'd probably go
I am flush, baby.
I'd probably go under the 45.5 for Daniels. But I think you continue to ride this Tyson Philpott train right now, buddy.
Why not? Well, I got Fajardo. I don't got Philpott, but I will certainly have Cody starting this week. And that Montreal vaunted defense special teams.
Over 88.5 receiving yards for Tyson Philpott tonight. That will be your cool bet hotline of the day. Philpott in Montreal, over 88.5 yards. It's the Nielson Show presented to you by South Fort Chevrolet. We got I Got Beef coming up next. I got beef with one of our former coworkers who's an AM nasty himself. I got beef with him coming up here just after 7:30.
I am stumped.
Yeah, you'll see. That hurts on the way as well. And we think we have our next draft. We don't have the date locked in, But I think we got something that we can go with. We've discussed it on the show a little bit already, but we'll get into that as we work our way through the rest of July 11th here on Edmonton Sports Talk. I see Tommy the Wrench in the nasty chat this morning, and Smitty the Welder says, Leon is getting engaged. Yes, he is. Yeah, he is.
You're just finding that out now? Come
Technically, it doesn't impact any of your lives at all, but it is exciting.
We'll break it down third hour, I think.
It is.
Hour,
It
right?
is exciting.
Yeah.
Whose wedding's going to be better? McDavid's or Drysdale's? What they both need to do is have kids immediately so they can get that dad strength like the Nuge and then win a Stanley Cup. Just come on. Figure this out.
That in your ESPN article.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to a sports update with Lieutenant Eric.
Colombia advancing to the Copa America finals. They'll take on Argentina after a 1-0 victory over Uruguay. After the match, a number of Uruguayan players seen fighting Colombian fans in the stands. Canada will face Uruguay Saturday at 6 in the third-place game. USA over Canada 86-72 down in Vegas last night in a Paris Olympics primer. R.J. Barrett leading the way with 12 points for Canada. On the diamond, Riverhawks fall 17-5 out in Wenatchee to the Apple Sox. The rubber match of that series goes later tonight as the Hawks find themselves a game and a half back of Wenatchee for tops in the north. Prospects dropping a 13-6 decision to Lethbridge out in Sherwood Park. Prospects hit the road. They'll visit the Medicine Hat Mavericks tonight. First pitch, 7:05. Jays with a 10-6 victory over the Giants. Ernie Clement going yard with a 3-run dinger for the second night in a row. The rubber match of that series goes later this afternoon. Kevin Gosman starts. First pitch, 1:45. Week 6 kicks off in the CFL tonight from Montreal when the undefeated Alouettes host the 2-2 Toronto Argonauts. Elks back home to host Ottawa Sunday at 6. Sports Update brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda, including dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, where he's not getting engaged or married this summer.
If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you can afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki with like a giant eagle's wings and singing lead vocals for Leonard Skinner with like an angel band. And I'm in the crowd hammered drunk.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
Two little haters out there, suck on that one for tonight, will you?
Tulowitzki rips one to left center field. Gone!
Too low. Too low. Too low, too low.
To my audio, a little too low.
Oh.
Too high, too high. Yeah, that's good.
It is the Nielson Show presented to you by South Fort Chevrolet. Visit their website, www.southfortchev.com, and go check them out at 10109 89th Ave. Only, this is in Fort Sask, only if you want a family-friendly, stress-free experience. If you want an experience that like totally stresses you out and they hate your kids, go somewhere else. That won't be the case at South Fort Chev. All right, we'll get to that Hertz coming up, but we got to get into I Got Beef. For Acme Meats. Eat fresh, eat local, eat Acme. And boy, did they deliver. Literally, at the golf tournament. Nice little baggies with a couple pieces of the beef jerky and the sausage.
I still had beef. The next day, I still had a couple pieces of jerky.
How many pieces of jerky and or sausage do you think Sickler had sitting there handing it out for the day?
You got to take a bit. One for you, one for me. One, like that type of thing as the afternoon goes on.
Had to have been in on that a little bit.
And hey, you said HR Daddy. Has he made his maiden voyage yet to Acme?
No, he was busy yesterday, stuck at the mall all day with the family, so he didn't get to go to Acme.
Too many water massages.
Yeah.
Hey, you can always get him a few steaks and ship them over, hey?
Yeah, you know what? Ship them fresh. Eat fresh, eat local, eat Acme. Acme Meats, serving Edmonton for over 100 years. 9570 76th Ave. I am going to have to leave around 8:30 today.
Yes.
Flight has stayed
That was
on a similar time to leave, just now to Vancouver and then Winnipeg instead of just Winnipeg.
Hasn't changed, though.
I'm sure once I get to the airport, it'll be canceled again anyway. What'll be the best is I'll be actually stuck in Vancouver later today. And then I'm like, but I'm further away from where I need to be. Unbelievable. All right, what do you got beef with, buddy? What's the beef?
Well, I mean, I got I got beef with people. You go through a drive-through, hey, and I know it's a foreign concept now, but you pay with cash.
What?
Sometimes I have cash on me. I pay with cash. You can then get change, and then in the change, you might also get some cash. I swear I've had a beef with this before, but it keeps happening. Give me the change first in the hand. Change in the hand, cash on top. You give one of those waxy cash bills right then, and then you dump 2 pounds of change on top, and it's slipping and sliding all over the place. Change is falling all over the place, out of my car, into the seat, under the seat, over the seat, and then an apology. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to drop all of your money there. I'm not going to assist you picking it up at all. You can do that while people are waiting behind you in the line. Change first, cash second.
Changing cash. That's what are we're at here. We're 153 likes. Let's hammer 200 here before 8 o'clock, right? 100 an hour. I know it's the off season. I know everybody's chill. I'll relax. Oh, I'll save my thumbs up for September. Get it together.
It's because of this MBT play, I think. Hey,
you think that's what it is?
Wretched play during the season. It's
I think part of that's on you for having cash. I can't remember the last time I paid with cash ever.
Well, that's fine. But I'm just saying, when you get it back to me, you've got to understand. Like
I thought you were going to say dollar bill first, and then the cash in the middle of the dollar bill sinks it down a little bit, and then you just grab it all.
But it doesn't. These bills are so robust.
It slides.
It slides.
It
You understand what I'm
Yeah,
coming from?
no.
I'm sure.
It's that new money issue then, I guess.
Put up your hand.
Yeah,
if
that's
if you've
very
experienced this.
relatable.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because you put the coin in first, I kind of secure it, and then I'll take the bill with the finger or something like that. It's.
If you have any beefs, you can text them to us. Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Hey, guys, I got beef. This isn't from Rob today. Hey, guys, I got beef with this heat. I'm okay with the heat, but would like it to cool off at night already.
And that's what'll get you, right? It's those, you walk out 10 p.m. and it's still like, where's the sun again? Oh, yeah, it's not even here.
Yeah, I stepped out this morning. It was muggy already. I was like, oh, my
That's
God.
why I'm in the B-ball kit, you know? But it's all fine when you got the AC.
Trev, you got any beefs?
It was like 28 last night, and I went outside to cool down. Yeah, I got beef with that. I'd like just put an AC in every house now. Like, why is that an option? You know, it should just come with an AC. Yeah, that's I got beef.
You know, if you were a home builder,
I'd be like, make sure
you'd separate yourself like a home building company. Separate yourself from the others by including air conditioning in every unit that you build. And it's included.
Why is that not a thing?
Get a good deal with an air conditioning company. You're getting a little hit on it. You give them some plug, a little bit of a contra deal. You know, pay them a few bucks to become your official, but you get good deals on the buy. And then boom, just like that.
I love it.
That's a good one. Looney Len is in it, says, I got beef. I'm tired of people parking in EV charging spots. I know it's a courtesy. I know it's not illegal. But now that I have an EV, this is an electric vehicle.
Yeah, well.
How many times I find big trucks, vans, motorcycles parked in spots when I need to charge? It's not like I parked in blocking the entrance. It's gas stations. Where's the common courtesy?
Oh, common courtesy. We left that in the rearview mirror, I think, years ago, right? Like, it's just, don't litter. I'll show them. You just I don't get the point anymore. Why would you block it if somebody needs it? What are we doing here?
Now there's a lot of these EV charging spots. It's funny because my brother-in-law who drives a Tesla and they're heading to Kamloops today, he's going to charge the vehicle this morning before they leave because I refuse to let him do it at the house. I said, I'm in Alberta. I will not let you charge an EV on the side of my home.
We do not use electricity here.
Actually, he never asked. Maybe my house isn't capable of charging an electric vehicle. I don't know. Anyway, he's going to go charge it this morning. But the one thing that pissed me off, and I can't remember where it was, but it was a few years back. Oh, it was at the airport in like the big lot right before the parkade. All of the EV charging spots were like super close to the airport, but Like, why did they get to be white? So EV cars get to park?
I think it's more
like
of an
where
incentive.
disabled people park?
Well, it's
like,
an
it doesn't make any
incentive,
sense to me.
Probably an incentive. Or
No,
the...
screw the incentive.
Yeah.
EV people, should just mix it in regular parking spots if that's where it's going to go, if it's in a parking lot. You know what I mean? Like, I have to park further away because this guy's vehicle's electric? That doesn't make any sense to me. I'll use as much gas as I want. And to be honest with you, I'd have to use the gas to drive further into the parking lot, so are we really helping the environment at all? Whereas the electric vehicle could drive as far as I want in the parking lot, not going to damage everything, except, of course, for a battery that you never know what to do with after.
Burglar, EV are trash, horrible idea. And he says, LOL, I just don't get it, man. World's gone.
Chris in the Paris Jewelers inbox says, I got beef with the price of corn on the cob. It should never be over $1. The damn thing is mostly cob. Man, I got 12 corn on the cobs, and I actually got them like raw.
Not the frozen variety.
You know, like the raw one, not the one that's already plucked or whatever you call it, husked. And I got them for 77 cents a pop, which I felt pretty good about. And they were pretty good corn.
On the side of the road or in an established...
No, I was at Walmart.
Okay, yeah. That's okay.
Yeah. Big Slime Nasty's in it, says, I got beef with the guy who takes beer league hockey too seriously and then waits for someone in the parking lot with a metal bat. Let's all get to work tomorrow.
Ooh, more on this story, please.
Yeah, man, I didn't know you played against me 9 years ago.
What metal bat do you own, Big Slam Nasty? What's the brand?
Here's my beef. I got beef with a tweet. As I'm sitting there, sweaty balls, sweaty armpits, yesterday, our Chilean friend, Hernan Salas, tweets out last night, this weather is just perfect.
Saw that? I liked it.
You liked it?
I sure did. I think I was the first one who liked it.
I replied with a rock gift that said, shut your damn mouth.
I seen that too.
And then Matthew Wannick said, yes, with a Ted Lasso gift. I'm sitting there hating the weather, and I see a good buddy of mine almost do it just to rub it in that he like loves the heat. And he's like, I'm meant for the fourth hottest day in Edmonton history. The rest of us aren't. Hernan, I got beef with you, my man. I know you're probably listening this morning or listening later on. I still love you with all my heart, but I got beef with you today.
Josh Clausen on cue tweeting out 8 seconds ago, still hot today, but not stupid hot like the past 3. Storm risk late in the day, then a cool down kicks in, and we're looking at a chance of showers this weekend.
So so as long as it's not a torrential downpour during the Elks game, we can mix in a few showers.
Probably will be. I mean, whenever the Riverhawks are back in town here, it'll probably...
So how would people take it if it was minus 30 and I tweeted out, the weather is just perfect? They'd say you're insane.
I think old Warren Barris had the tweet, it's too hot, as we all like to do at some point during the summer months. You get 8 or 9 months of that, right? Like the potential of the minus 30, minus 25 or whatever. This doesn't come along. You get a week or two and...
Yeah, so when it's minus 40, because it doesn't come along very often, I should tweet out,
but it comes
this
along
weather
more
is
often.
Just perfect.
It's more often than these weeks maybe.
I got too much beef
Unless you
with
subscribe to all that
today.
climate theory.
Yeah.
It's another cacophony.
Wheels is in. Our man in the chair, he says, I got beef when I'm trying... Oh, excuse me.
Get Zuntate.
I got beef when I'm trying to fill up my tires with air, and the person in front of me is trying to fill up their bike tires, and they don't even know how to use the air pump. God, I love a chief in a wheelchair looking at people on a bike, sitting there looking at me going, you're pathetic. You are pathetic. Not even their main mode of transportation, and they can't figure it out. Like,
Wheels, do you let out a little in the winter months just to keep that traction on the... I'm wondering if he's running hard all summer long, like the hards, and then you... transition to the softs for the summer to kind
I would hope he has wets and intermediates.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah. Penner's Pancake says, I've got beef with today's school system. Oh, boy, here we go. I almost always paying cash. Almost always still paying cash, man? What? So then you have to go to the bank machine, take cash out? I don't know. It's a weird extra stop. I don't get it. Anyway, watching cashiers struggle to count change from a 20 for a $13.45 order with the amount to give back is on the screen. It's sad. Well, I guess we're getting to a generation that didn't grow up counting all their change all the time.
They're living online, right?
Yeah, well, that's true. Marshall and the Muzz are getting a bank account this summer. Marshall's been asking one for 3 months.
Oh, boy.
Or 3 years.
Okay.
He's wanted a bank account. And Tammy's finally said, we'll get you a bank account this
checkbook?
summer. I want him to get that old updated balance book.
The balance.
that you get and you take it in and put it in a thing. It'll go,
What have I done
spit
bad?
out. You're like, I've got $12.90. This is amazing. Straight to Wayne's.
Well, this is exciting.
Yeah, they're pretty excited about it.
Hook them up with like an advisor or somebody down there. You can go for weekly meetings.
I can't wait for Marshall to come to me when he's 11 and be like, Daddy, I'm in my overdraft. What? Are we not teaching responsible finance in this family? Is that too? He'll be 9 when he gets a bank account. I got my first bank account when I was 12.
It's responsibility, right?
Yeah. He's got a bunch of money in his piggy bank and
Sure.
for birthdays and stuff, right? So
Get that interest going.
I think he wants a debit card. He just wants to be able to like go purchase something with a debit card.
Well, you let him in the store that one day by himself, right? That was probably
The one day I
spurred
sent him
on
in to get a Gatorade after hockey by himself.
He just wants to say, charge it, put it on the card. You know?
He comes out. I'm crying in the driver's seat. Like, that's my boy.
Bawling.
That's my son. Oh, look after him. I called the person inside the 7-Eleven. I said, hey, that's my son coming in. I have a particular set of skills. And if you don't give him the correct machine to tap, I'm going to come in there and I'm going to choke you.
I will find you.
Yeah, I will find you and I will kill you. And then once you're dead, I'll take all of the pizza subs that are at 7-Eleven. By the way, it is 7-Eleven today. 7-Eleven day. We got a question for 3 questions too many.
I was there
that
yesterday.
relates to 7-Eleven. Were you?
Coca-Cola.
Where would you guys have been out? Where would you been? I thought about stopping today, being a good boss, and bringing in Slurpees for everybody today. No,
Not
see,
at this
I know,
ungodly
that's
hour.
what I
Yeah.
thought. I know you're a coffee guy.
Just the bean, yeah.
Yeah.
But we
Trevor, where are you at like the 6 a.m. Slurpee?
coming off sleeping in
loved
30
that.
degree heat.
You would have loved that?
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry I didn't do that.
You can have
No,
mine.
that's okay.
yeah.
That's okay.
You know what? We could have brought yours and just left it in the fridge. Zach could have had it 6 days from now.
At the old place, we get those Slurpee drops to be sitting there all morning for 3 hours, congealing into the flat pop.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like it was kind of a pointless venture.
Yeah,
but
yeah, that's a good point. All right, 780-218. VR Montenegro says, Dusty, the question is, when does he get his own Cool Bet account? Hey,
well,
how do you know he doesn't have one already? Yeah. Got to take advantage of that sign up.
looks over 18.
I said to Marshall, I said, come over here. Come over here. I'm going to need you to enter the code LOCKSHOP for 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $200.
Charge it.
Marshall was on Uruguay last night. He was devastated.
On his Sports Select.
That was a tough one. The Dougler's in and says, when I was 12, I used my debit card to buy potassium nitrate on the internet and made smoke bombs at home. What?
How old are you?
Jeez, Dougler.
You seem to be blending eras here, and they don't really overlap.
Sounds like you need to sign Marshall and the Muzz up to take a financial planning course with Gager.
Well, that's the play here, hey?
That's a good point. I like that one. Obama guy's in and says, my wife is a bartender, and she almost exclusively uses cash in everyday life. Is that because of the tips and stuff? Probably because
I haven't had cash since I've got this job.
Oh, I was gonna say, but you were a bartender.
Yeah.
So you'd have cash.
That's the
right?
tips, yeah.
So that's how it is. You just take cash away at night.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It is cool. It's nice. Oh, it was nice seeing the cash, right?
Yeah.
I last time I used to walk around with cash in the pocket was back when I was doing Monday Night Football, and they used to pay us in cash at the brew house. And then at some point, the old station was like, actually, we're going to invoice for that. We're going to tax you on it. You're going to get less. I was like, oh, you're killing
The
us.
day the music died, hey?
Yeah, like that used to just be the best under the radar cash ever. And then they're like, we got to keep it above ground. I said, no, we don't. Nobody even knows about this. You're ruining it for all of us. So I got beef with that back in the day too. Eat fresh, eat local, eat Acme. Get it done at Acme Meats.
And old Nielson, no beefs. He goes, how about some bouquets this morning? Have a great day, men. Old Nielson. So that's a good way to kind of, no beefs for him. He's
a beef or a bouquet?
A bouquet.
That's a nice one.
Yeah.
That's a nice one. Hey, it's going to be a little bit warm out today. Not as hot as yesterday.
Not stupid
but
hot.
it's going to be a little bit warm. So if you want to cool down, may we suggest picking up something from our great partners at Alley Cat. The geniuses behind the 6 o'clocker lager. Bringing you everything from Skona Gold to Apricot, Mandalorian, the main squeeze, and a whole lot more. Check them out, www.alleycat.com or visit their tap room at 9929 60th Ave, which I do believe you two, Trev, was at
Last
weekend. Yeah. It's a nice tap room, actually.
Great tap room. Was just unbelievable outside. Got your cornhole. Get your cornhole here. And yeah, it was fun.
Alley Cat, of course, had a booze hole at the EST Golf Classic.
Yes.
Bunch of different ones to try.
May I suggest, as I've been taking them down heavy at the Riverhawks games this season, the lemon hard iced tea in the regular-sized can. You then follow that up with, and in no particular order, the Shoreline Lime Lager, a 4.5% light, malty. The two of those, a winning combination. Of course, with everything else that they have as well, and some great non-alcoholic options too. But that hard iced tea goes down a dream on a hot one.
I tried that because they were doing samples at the tourney.
Yeah.
I tried that one. And then what was the other one I tried? It was it a raspberry sour?
Yeah, that would be the one there. Yeah, I think they had something
I
like
tried that one. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was a classic, tasted more like beer than the sour, which I got a lot of time for. So look, Alley Cat just keeps banging out great beverage after great beverage, highlighted of course by our wonderful 6 o'clocker lager. But anytime you're in a liquor store, preferably Sobeys and Safeway Liquor, you see that lineup of Alley Cat, and the label just pops too. Like all of them, they just boom, 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 boom. They're not messing around.
Easy on the eye.
I think in my fridge right now, because I had family in. So when you have family in, it's an extra excuse to load up the fridge. For a family like myself and Tam, we really don't drink too much. But right now, there's about a dozen Apricats and 10 6 o'clocker lagers in the fridge. Dusty's going to have a good summer. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Living flesh.
Very much looking forward to
Scrooge McDuck and a pile of coin there.
George is in and says, Dusty, have you had a chance to use the Slurpee straws I got you? Not just yet, George, but they're in my truck and they're just waiting. I've got this pack of like 200 Slurpee straws. And if I open up the middle console on my truck, it's like they're like a whole civilization down there. They're looking up at me. They're like, get a Slurpee. Pick me. I'm the chosen one. Like they're waiting for it. So I'm gonna get into that this weekend, I think. I'll probably get into that this weekend.
No, the Coca-Cola Slurpee after the EST Golf Classic. That was a good chaser.
Yeah.
That
great
fixed
idea.
me up, a little yesterday.
Great idea. Actually, Murray and Adam out at the ranch. Have you ever thought of full-blown Slurpee machine at the turn? Throw it in the shack.
Oh boy,
your own Slurpee. You go and make your own Slurpee. Mix your own Slurpee. And I don't know how much it costs to dish our Slurpees out, but could we do it on the house? Free Slurpees only at the ranch. It's like when BlackBerry added their chat thing, and it was free text messaging only on BlackBerry.
Just ice and flavor.
Yeah. If you've not watched the BlackBerry movie yet, you definitely should. I love that movie.
Finance the Machine.
I probably watched it 100 times. The Wolf is in and says, I once stole $50 from Papa Wolf and bought $50 worth of Pogs. Oh boy, he was not happy when he found out what I used his money for. Yeah, but you should have said, well, at least I didn't use it on hard drugs. Right? Who cares if your kid's stealing money to buy toys or collectibles? It could be worse. They could be smoking the weed with your money. You don't want that. Guys, confession, but not on confession day. My father-in-law forgot his wallet and stopped by our house so he could have some cash to fill up his truck and get home. We had no cash on hand. So I had to dig 10 loonies out of the console of my truck I used for parking. And that was enough to get him home to Beaumont from the West End. Carry cash all the time since.
Oh, yeah. I got cash squirreled away all parts of my house. I got coin, too.
I don't. I have one loonie in my truck for when I need a cart somewhere.
I have a loonie with a hole drilled through it on my keychain, just in case.
For carts?
Anything. I don't know.
That's
I've never had
cool.
to use it, but... no, carry cash. Yeah, cash. Tipping, you need a tip. Hey, you want service done? Like, you're a man of travel here. You'll be at the airports and everything, bags and all that.
Never use
hotel concierge. No,
it's one of my
tip it into the pocket.
It's one of my ways to not have to give money to people. Oh, sorry, man. I'd love to tip you.
Do you
but
take
I don't
card?
Have cash.
Yeah.
Do you take Visa?
Your loss. Yeah, you
here
tried.
at the valet service.
Yeah. Just start writing checks, eh?
Maybe.
$1.
Just
50 cents
checks.
Yeah.
Here you go. Like on Dumb and Dumber. Here you go.
Here you go.
Here you go. Here you go.
You can use Marshall's book for the weekend.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. So I don't do the cash thing anymore. I'm very futuristic.
Well, in my NFL bar scene, of course, that's where I have. I'm in Trevor's world. That's where I'm living right now. It's great.
Same type of thing. All right. Tango's in it, says, I got beef with DJs canceling 4 days before a wedding. What?
Uh-oh.
This sucks.
Name names.
You know what I'd probably suggest? You go and buy more jewelry from parisjewelers.com just to smooth things over.
I think that should do the trick.
How do you do that? How do you do that to a couple that's about to get married?
Especially when you're DJing. I assume most wedding DJs, I mean, that's a big part of their job. That's the smoke you want on your name, DJ whomever you are?
No, you don't want that
You don't
smoke.
want that smoke.
Nobody wants that
People
heat.
talk. Wedding people talk, eh?
Man. All right, we got to get to that hurts for the injury lawyers at SBLLP. I was going to email these guys and ask if they deal with emotional injuries too. You know, like it's just like, man, my feelings were hurt today. Are we at that point now where we can just sue for hurt feelings? I'm just asking. Probably. These guys must have to filter through a bunch of bogus claims.
There's money to be made.
All the power in the world to the personal injury experts at SBLLP. They got the experience to gather evidence and advance your claim to ensure you get fair compensation. And the best part is you don't need to be intimidated by the process. Go to www.sb-llp.com, click on personal injury, or call 780-438-5281, 780-438-5281. No need to feel shame. Let SBLLP handle the claim. And I should have prepped better for this one today. You might have to YouTube it. But I was watching, so I watched Canada-US last night on Sportsnet, the basketball game. And then after it, like a blooper show popped up with a guy who was dressed way too casual to be on Sportsnet. But anyway, like you're on national television. I don't need to
Was it Luke Wilson?
I don't need to see what I was wearing in high school. You know, it frustrated me. Anyway, one of the videos on this blooper thing, I swear to God, I thought my mom was going to die from laughter. Maybe if you YouTube it, maybe you can find it somewhere. But it was at this dog show. And this little, like, pug is running around just busting his balls. Like, I'm going to win the show. I'm going to be the best. And the owner was a little bit of a heavier guy.
Okay.
And he's running along beside him. And the dog cuts into, like, the tunnel and comes out of the tunnel on the other side. And the owner who is running along to get to the other side of the tunnel trips, stumbles, lands on the dog, and takes the dog out of the competition.
Like done? Oh, just out of the competition. Okay. Boom,
I was
done.
just like,
dead.
Oh my God. I got to find this clip and I got to tweet it out. Because I don't know if it was because like I've been tired for 3 days and I just, like, you think everything's funny. But my God, for that guy, that hurt. Like, you train this dog, you get him to a spot where you think he can go out and win the title. And then he's in, like, the home stretch.
Feeling good.
He's coming through that. He's coming around the turn in the tarp, and he's coming out. He's got to jump over, like, one more thing. I didn't even know. Maybe he was winning at the time. But this dog's running along, and he sees his owner trip and fall, and he's got to be thinking, what an ass. Like,
you promised me you wouldn't screw up.
Do you know how hard I've worked at this? And now you're going to fall on me? Did you find it, Trev? If you can find it and somehow grab the video, like, we got to show this. Like, it is hilarious. Yeah, Trev. Yeah, this is it. Rick, watch this guy. Like, watch here.
The dog goes back. Like, what are you doing?
Where'd you find it? Would you search to find it? But tell us what you searched. Because my God,
Here, let's see.
It's hilarious.
I looked up. Guy falls on dog in dog show.
Okay, just on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Sportsnet posted this. So if you look up Westminster dog show, trainer wipes out in front of Ripple the dog.
Ripple the dog? Oh,
Ripple the dog.
Yeah, there it is. I'm going to tweet this out right now so you can go see it. I don't know why.
That's so good.
But I just think it's one of the funniest things that I've ever seen.
Hurts.
I thought he landed right on the thing, like, smothered him.
No,
Dog's
but he
out of
totally,
sight,
I just put yourself in that poor dog's shoes. That hurts, man.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
God, and I'm assuming they have a really close relationship. He must just sat down. Like, imagine them sitting at home like us after at the table, and he's looking over at me being like, oh, what have you done to me? Like,
I had a chance. Like, I had other handlers wanting a piece of me, right? Like, he had options in the offseason. Went back with the one he loved.
Yeah. Yeah, he's requested a trade. He's like, I'm out. Somebody who
he was promised a project and it's failing before his eyes here.
Yeah, you gotta check this out. I'm telling you, if you ever need, this is something like if you're having a bad day and you need a laugh, you could just go watch this. I mean, that hurts. That hurts. Northside Sandwich says, I just watched it. He totally ruined his dog's chances. Of course he did. He totally blocked the entire path of the dog. That hurts.
Physically, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally.
That dog's got a meeting Friday morning with SBLLP.
As he should.
www.sb-llp.com. Click on personal injury or call 780-438-5281. I think it's safe to say that dog had a rough ride. Boom. Go check it out. I just tweeted it out at Nielson TSN 1260, a handle that I got to update at some point. All right, we need somebody to play kind of easy trivia right now. Mr. Mike's Steakhouse. I have tears from just watching it on Trev's computer.
Tears of sadness for the dog.
We've got a gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual. If you'd like to play kind of easy trivia right now, you need 3 of 5. We'll get to that coming up here. Text Trev at 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Text Trev. Let him know you'd like to play kind of easy trivia today for Mr. Mike's. We'll go there. 3 questions too many for Park Mazda coming up as well. Scalding hot takes for Claiborne Services just before 8:30. Ooh, we got to talk about this. Who's going to judge Scalding hot takes today? Gager's busy.
Pal.
Do we
Mitt on the line?
You want to put up a poll?
Put up a poll.
That runs from the end of it to 9 o'clock?
Okay, yeah. Let's do that.
I mean, want to do that?
Might as well.
I think it's probably the best way to go. Okay, that's what we'll do. We'll go YouTube poll to determine the winner of Scalding Hot Takes today. We'll go there around 8:20 today as well. Then YouTube Trev and Lieutenant Eric will take you home here from 8:30 to 9. Hangout, of course, at 9 o'clock today as well. 780-218-9999 if you want to play kind of easy trivia this morning. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, please just send a link to EST to your buddies so they can hop in on the fun as well. Sports update with LTE right now for Claiborne Services. More information on what they're looking for.
Colombia are off to the Copa America finals. They defeat Uruguay 1-0. Canada will face Uruguay Saturday at 6 in the third-place game. USA over Canada 86-72 on the hard court last night down in Vegas in a Paris Olympics primer. RJ Barrett leading the way with 12 points. After taking the series opener, the Riverhawks fall hard last night, 17-5 out in Wenatchee to the division-leading Apple Sox. The rubber match will go later tonight as the Hawks are a game and a half back of the Apple Sox for tops in the div. Riverhawks back home Friday, July 19th when they welcome in Springfield. Prospects fall 13-6 to Lethbridge from Sherwood Park. Prospects hit the road. They'll visit the Medicine Hat Mavericks tonight. First pitch, 7:05. Jays and Giants. The rubber match of that series goes later this afternoon. Kevin Gosman gets the start. First pitch, 1:05. Blue Jays taking Game 2 last night by the tune of 10-6. In Week 6 in the CFL, kicking off tonight from Montreal. The undefeated Alouettes hosting the 2-2 Argonauts. Elks back home when they host the Red Blacks Sunday at 5. Take your career to the next level with Claiborne Services. They're hiring all positions, including journeyman bricklayers and apprentices of all levels. Take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program and work with peace of mind knowing they are an industry leader in safety. For more, check out www.claiborneservices.com or make it easy and call Jeff 780-910-6728.
Ever since he was a young boy, he hasn't been very tall. From Zona up to Edmonton, he's the oil fireball. Yeah, we ain't seen nothing like him, don't need no Taylor Hall. With a quick, hard snapshot, goal scored by Josh Archibald. He flies around the ice rink with terror in his eyes, hitting all the G-men, all the bigger guys. He plays with inspiration, bounces up when he falls. With a quick, hard snapshot, goal scored by Josh Archibald. He's a PK wizard, he clears the zone so quick. A PK wizard's got such an active stick. How do you think he does it? I don't know what makes him so good. Ain't got no detractors, cause he works hard and tries. Even Gregor likes him, stick is the right size. Always makes the right play, he's not afraid to brawl. With a quick hard snapshot, goal scored by Josh Archibald.
Oh, Josh Archibald. Remember the day we debuted that? Remember what happened that day?
The comet, asteroid, or something like that?
There was like a meteor or something.
Meteor,
flying by the city. Like the moment we were playing it. Can you
that
believe
was,
that?
That was a feeling, hey? That was a vibe.
That was so weird. So weird. It is the Nielson Show presented to you by Southfort Chevrolet. If you are looking for a super stressful vehicle experience, don't go see them because they're the exact opposite. www.southfortchev.com. Southfort Chevrolet, 10109 89th Ave. Go see Daniel and his team at Southfort Chev. Tell them we sent you, and they'll take excellent care of you. They'll also give you 15% off accessories for your new ride. Hey, my wife just texted me. She was wondering, do you guys want them to bring in our house fans for the rest of the day around here or what?
Like your kids? Like the fans? Like,
No, like the legitimate fans in the house.
Well,
she said they'll do a drop-off, but probably good, eh? It's kind of cool in here today with the
Way
fan
better,
and stuff. Like, not near as bad as
all the lights off. We'll work in the darkness.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, Paris Jewelers inbox. And one of you will win text of the day today for A and W. I'm actually able to check into my flight now. All the emergency row seats are gone. Unbelievable. I don't want to go. All that's available.
Now you cancel the flight.
Oh, there's one aisle seat left. I'm hopping on that bad boy right now. Let's go. 5C. 5C. 5C.
5.
We've done it. All right, who's playing kind of easy trivia today?
We've got Vaughn on the line.
Vaughn is going to play today. Needs to get 3 out of 5 correct to win that gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual. Casualest place ever. Hampton Inn, the corner of 137th Ave and Mark Messier Trail. They got the 6 o'clocker lager in the house. And, of course, they got the classic Mike Burger and sirloin bites in the house as well. Vaughn needs to get 3 of the 5 questions correct to win that gift certificate. Let's bring him in this morning. Vaughn, good morning. You ready to go?
Yes, sir.
All right, I will start the ticker after I read the first question. Best of luck to you. What country is basketball player Jamal Murray from?
Canada.
Name one other current Canadian basketball player. Which Canadian won back-to-back NBA MVP trophies? Which Canadian won the green jacket at the Masters? Which city is... I got it! He got it! He got it! That was ugly, but he got it.
Oh, is that dirty?
This is not just a dream, it's a wet dream of orgasmic proportions.
Oh, is that dirty?
Frustration sets in and the emotion goes out, and then you just start playing by yourself.
Oh, is that dirty?
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
All right, there we go. Vaughn got it done.
Somebody sounded like he was trying to drown him or something there. Help me.
It's the NBA.
Mike Weir.
He was drowning in basketball questions. And then the Mike Weir answer pulled him back up. Mike Weir at the Masters reached down and grabbed him and pulled him up and got the dub.
By the green jacket, hey?
780-218-9999. Hey, before we get to 3 questions too many, I have been teasing this draft thing. Tommy and I were talking about. You guys could get in this tomorrow on the show, actually.
Love it.
A lot, probably. Tommy and I kind of locked in yesterday. We'll have to approve. We got to find a date that the commission can make it in.
Absolutely.
But we want to do the movie prop draft.
Movie
prop draft.
Now define prop.
Well, great question. I'll have to have a discussion with the commish.
There's a character prop line here that might get a little blurry.
Well, I
right?
would think anything that's not human, for sure.
Yeah. So,
but like, what about robots in movies?
The robotic. That's the one I'm talking
Like,
about.
would the, Terminator be a prop? No.
Well, with AI these days, robots are kind of one of us, which they weren't back then, right? So I don't know. The Terminator could be a prop. Like,
what it has to be something that's not living. So like dinosaur, like the Tyrannosaurus Rex can't be a prop.
Something without awareness.
Something that can't feel love.
The Titanic, first overall.
But yeah, movie prop draft.
Man, this is that's a large.
Oh,
we're gonna have
it's a big
scouting
one.
staff on the phone today.
Like,
We're hitting it.
do vehicles count? Are they technically movie props?
Why am I thinking just Jurassic Park here? I'm going to be Jurassic Park heavy for some reason.
So the question will be, if you had a first overall pick in a draft of movie props, not TV show props, just movie props, and we'll have a bunch of different categories, but if you had the first overall pick in a draft of movie props, what would you take, and why would Tommy Gazzola take that shooting thing from Ghostbusters? What's it called? The pack?
Echo 5?
No, Ecto's the car. It's called I can't remember what
Had
it's
one as a
called.
kid. You shoot the ghost and
Yeah,
then it
yeah,
goes
I
in the
can't remember
box,
what
right?
it was
Or whatever
called.
it is.
I can't remember what it was called.
The briefcase from Pulp Fiction, the One Ring from Lord of the Rings. That would be a big one. Hey, like
the ring from Lord of the Rings.
The Siron Wilson from Castaway, the lightsaber. I mean, that's always a popular one.
Lightsaber's going to be a
Is it
huge
the Darth
one.
Maul double or the Obi-Wan Kenobi
Well,
blue
can you
or
take
green?
more than one? You can only take one. Once lightsaber goes, it's off the board.
I think so. Hey, yeah, this is interesting. There's a lot of The
I want
categories are gonna
Indiana
be interesting.
Jones's whip.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm not talking about his car in 2024. I'm talking about his legitimate whip that he actually whipped his own chin with on a train.
Speaking of automobiles, I mean, the DeLorean's got to be top round action for you here, hey, in terms
Well,
of
that's
hard
why I'm
overhead.
wondering if we have. Is there an automobile category where you draft one automobile?
I think that's fair.
Dex is in and says the Titanic. Blaine from Scottsdale is in this morning. He says Han Solo's blaster.
The Ruby Slippers from Wizard of Oz.
Rip City Steps says Dirk Diggler's prosthetic wiener. That wasn't real? I haven't looked that up.
Freddy's glove from A Nightmare on Elm Street. That's an iconic. Oh, McLovin's driver's license.
McLovin's driver's license. Good one. See,
Wow.
it's got to be these. This is deep. This is a deep
very.
category.
Thor's hammer. I mean, for the
Thor's
Marvel
hammer.
crowd out
Proton
there,
pack.
hey?
It's a proton pack. That's what it was. Thor's hammer. Yeah, that's a good one.
That Lord of the Rings, I think, will get some pop. I mean, I'm not a big, but that ring, it's one ring to rule them all, right?
McLovin's license is a really good one. I just watched Superbad the other day.
Yeah.
I was once told that it was kind of an underrated movie. And I tell you, Superbad is still hilarious. Still hilarious to me.
The leg lamp in A Christmas Story.
Keep those suggestions rolling in. But you good with that?
Hell yeah.
I don't see anybody being opposed to movie prop draft to get back in draft season.
The Great Bambino's baseball from The Sandlot.
Oh, from The Sandlot.
That ball.
Did you see that online, or did somebody lay that out for you?
No. We're just kind of going online here.
I love it.
Yeah, this is
this will be a fun one.
It'd be interesting how you go about it.
I think there's some
Here's the
ways
DeLorean, yeah.
when you could really blow people away that other people aren't even thinking about.
We're some time out, so I don't mind giving away some things there. But the Talk Boy from Home Alone.
Oh, this is Kevin McCall's the father. I'm looking to rent a room. The refrigerator. That you open with the credit card.
That's Home Alone 2.
You got it.
Yeah.
Credit card?
Hannibal Lecter's mask.
The rug from The Big Lebowski. The dude's rug. God,
Let's do this
I gotta
now. I
have
want to
that.
draft now. Like, let's get going.
That would be that would be pretty good.
Chubb's hand from Happy Gilmore.
Oh,
Yeah.
Chubb's hand from Happy Gilmore. God, you know what? I think we're probably I'm going to get a little too carried away. I'm too excited for the draft already. But I think we could go 20 rounds. We've never done a 20-round draft.
Sure.
But we could do a 20-round draft here. This could be the mother of all drafts. We've never gone 20 deep. 20, it'd still build a good list after.
Proton pack.
Yeah.
And Fazilla Moose says, any news, Drysdale?
Listen, we can't check in on Drysdale's car. The news here is that he got engaged.
That's the news,
So
as we know it.
Here's what's going to happen. He's not going to have any time to sign a contract because he's going to be planning a wedding. have to plan a wedding. We have to look at colors. We have to try cakes. We have to go look at various places. Like Drysdale and his fiance are probably going to go around the world looking for various places to get married. This is not like Tam and I in one afternoon going to like the Petroleum Club and then Chateau Louis and then being like, we'll have one at Chateau Louis. Like, this is going to be different. He's going to be
Martin
too focused on
Garrix,
this
are you available? Like, they're not getting rent a DJ from the whatever.
Yeah. This is not Steve from Steve's Good Tunes. This is...
Not to be confused with Steve's Great Tunes, which is also a competitor.
Yeah, they used to work together, but now it's a spite company.
Tyler in Terwilliger says Mrs. Doubtfire's voluptuous fanny.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Guys, Big Slam Nasty says Will Ferrell's silicone ball sack that he rubs on Dale Dobak's drum set in Step Brothers. Yeah, that's a good one, too.
You know where my brother goes on this, but Uncle Buck's car.
Uncle Buck's
I think
car.
That with the
like
CB
if you're
radio
looking at
attached,
vehicle again.
Holy
like,
hell, yeah.
Yeah, so this is a deep one. We've got a lot of time to prep for it. It should be...
the Jumanji game.
Yeah. Oh, just from Jumanji.
Yeah.
The entire movie was
That's
based
about
around
the game,
that prop. That's a good one as well.
What was the stake in the Great Outdoors? The old 69er or whatever?
Yeah, that was
shirt,
it.
right?
Yeah. Okay, that's a good one too.
Oh, man.
Kyle the Embalmer in the Nasty Chat says Doc Holliday's handkerchief.
How have we not mentioned that film yet?
God, we haven't even got to that yet.
The red sash?
The Cowboys' red sash. I mean, I got to get the hoverboard from Back to the Future.
There's a lot, and that's the thing. This heart versus head battle.
Maybe you use the big hoverboard that has power. Right? That's a good one, too.
At the expense of the DeLorean, though? Would you?
I want the whole stack.
You want the whole bit.
I want the whole stack. If you don't think I'm coming out of this draft with Gray's Sports Almanac, you're nuts. I have a Gray Sports Almanac at home. I will bring in for said draft. What about Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the Cup of Christ? The actual Holy Grail that he drank from to save his own father.
If you can get like an Indiana sweep, and kind of populate the whole movie with props. Did you see the Rita Hayworth poster from Shawshank already?
I did not say that.
I think a few people have chimed in with that one. I love it.
Brett B says the apple pie from American Pie.
That's really good.
Pre-gym, not post-gym.
Dennis Nedry's Barbasol can from Jurassic Park.
And then you have to bring one in, and then you got to spray out of it. It works. And then you put it on a slice of pie. That'd be great. Anyway, I think this might be the most excited I've ever been for a draft.
The buzz
I was thinking, we were discussing it in yesterday's show, the last draft. Do you guys remember? I went back and looked in the archives.
Was it
Tommy?
Christmas, though? Was it the Christmas one?
Or no. Sorry, I don't remember the winner.
Oh, okay.
But I looked back on
Which draft was it?
Captain's draft.
Captain's draft.
February 2nd.
February 2nd, Captain's draft.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's been a minute.
Oh, this one will be way better than the Captain's draft.
Hell yeah.
Like this is gonna be a good one. The Three Amigos outfits. Sarah says, "What is this game? We're going to do a draft." Sarah, if you're new here, we like to mess around, especially in the offseason. We're going to do a draft of movie props with four of us and the commish.
It was an idea brought up during the COVID time, right? And, this is sports. We're drafting. Everybody loves a good draft.
Yeah.
Not
Sports
so much in this market
drafts.
anymore, but so. And look, it gets hot. You think Scalding Hot Takes has a bit of a competitive flair to it. These drafts are not for the lighthearted.
Definitely not. Looking forward to it. Should be a pretty good time.
But I think scouting starts. I mean, it already has. This is.
Oh yeah.
You can't leave too many stones unturned.
We got to be looking at least 2 Wednesdays away. Right, like we got to figure it out because we're gonna need time to ramp this bad boy up. Is Matty Wannick texting us?
Zach's doing a coffee run.
Oh,
Wants to know if you guys want anything.
Zach's doing the
coffee run. I said, no thanks,
run.
Big Z.
Wow, that's nice of Zach. That's nice of Zach for sure. All right, let's get into 3 questions too many. Brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda. Lieutenant Eric, do you have a line for the segment?
3 questions too many, brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda, where dealer principal Mitch Lewicki is probably sure that a Mazda has featured in a movie and looks forward to one of us selecting it in the draft. Park Mazda, your dealer for life.
Hey,
ParkMazda.ca.
If you're excited for movie prop draft, hammer the thumbs up on YouTube this morning. We would appreciate it. Do you have a Twitter account, Rick?
At Lieutenant_Eric, where I took a big picture of our biggest fan today.
It's the
you know
little
what I'm
fan.
talking about. Don't give it away too much.
sorry.
Yeah.
Spoiler
Yeah,
alert.
it is. And also follow the station at YEG Sports Talk. That's YEG Sports Talk. Give us a follow up there.
All right. Question number 1 just rolls into the inbox. Do you guys actually think you could go 20 rounds in this movie prop draft?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
The challenge is out there. I'd love to give it a shot here.
We could I think.
How it looks near the end, I don't know, but yeah, we'll get there.
But that sometimes drafts are won in the later rounds.
Yes.
I think. Go ahead, Trev. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, so 80 props in total.
80 props in
so
total.
yeah, absolutely.
I
It's easy.
think we always finish a draft and then we're like, man, look at all the good stuff that went undrafted.
The free agent list is,
and this is an even deeper draft. Like, I could see what movie would have the most props drafted from it.
Like anything in Marvel, like you can pull a
There's
lot
tons
from
of
Marvel.
stuff there. Captain
Yeah.
America's Shield.
The Gauntlet.
Yeah, the Infinity Gauntlet. Like, so.
Well, I'll tell you this, boys, you can have them because I ain't going there.
I know you're not going there.
Well, I can't. I don't know. Recency has got on your side with those movies. Everybody knows them so much. But how far back do you pull as well? Like, do you go for like a traditional, but if it's old, like it doesn't get that buzz?
What about Dorothy from Twister? Right? It was going to do an advanced warning system.
Box of chocolates.
Yeah, box of chocolates.
Man, it'd be a lot of Forrest Gump
they
things.
just keep coming.
Yeah, that's good. Jenny's guitar. Yeah, there's lots of different things we could do. All right, so that's a good question. I definitely think we can go 20 rounds. And we definitely have the time because usually we finish the draft at like 10 after 10, and then we're like, okay, well, we'll recap it for 50 minutes.
Rip City Steps says you could do 20 rounds of just horror movie props. Probably.
I'm not drafting any horror movie props. Those props scare me. I don't want any of that. I want Rose's thing that she threw into the ocean in Titanic.
The pendant.
Yeah, the pendant.
It's been 84. People still going on about the Seinfeld draft as well anytime we bring up the drafts.
Yeah, so I'm sitting there at the golf tournament, EST Golf Classic, and one of the boys in the group goes, Dusty, where can I find the Seinfeld draft? I was like, I know. That was an
I
all-timer.
think Corbeil still has the only audio of it.
We could rerun Seinfeld drafts once a year.
A special.
With different people, and then because the script for the episode would always be different.
It's true.
All right, question number 2, guys. It's National 7-Eleven Day. What are your top 5 all-time favorite items to purchase from 7-Eleven? Oh boy, I gotta write these
Slurpee
down.
at number 1 just because of the times that you can have. I mean, you drank Slurpees as a kid, maybe not so much as an adult, but cool down, fix a hangover, those types of things. The taquito at number 2.
That's a good one.
But you're not doing it for like a 3 squares a day. I mean, we all know what hour you're getting the taquitos at and consuming them. So it's not all the time. I don't mind the chicken fingers. I don't mind the potato wedges.
The wedges are good.
The wedges
when you
are
get them
great.
crunchy, they're
And
good.
a great deal.
You know they got spicy wedges now too? It's a new thing.
I'll ask.
Yeah.
Outside of that, give me back the 5-cent candy bins.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I don't buy them in the bags. I'm not that risky of a consumer.
Thanks, pandemic.
You doing hot dogs? I'm not.
No, I do like the taquito though.
Jill says smokes. What about a good old porno mag? Can you still buy those at the...
Nope.
Nope.
No, that's why I've always thought somebody should invest in a porno stand right outside of 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Right?
Just
People
print.
are coming out, they're like, oh, what are these? Well, you can't get them in there anymore. Oh.
Enjoy.
Well, I'll take one.
First one's free.
2 for 1, actually. Here's what I got. I just put together a quick order. The day that this stops being available there, I don't know if I'll have anything else left to live for. 7-Eleven pizza sub. Pizza sub is my go-to.
Undefeated.
It is one of my favorite sandwiches on this planet.
What was the story? Just off White Ave?
Fell asleep once with a pizza sub in the middle of the winter between 2 garbage cans. And once again, you know who emerged from the mist of a -15 night to save my life? The Godfather.
The Godfather.
Of course.
My
right?
God, that's...
The Godfather. I remember I called him. I was like, my phone's about to die. Pizza sub. And he knew I was out at Cook County that night. He was leaving work. He was just coming back from work. Swung by, picked me up, found me between 2.
He triangulated
I was
you.
between the 2 garbage cans, holding a pizza sub like a newborn child. And he got me and he took me home. I'll always owe him for that one. I'll always owe him for that
I
one.
thought you said 3 words and he knows.
Yeah.
Like
it's just like.
Pizza it's Saturday night? Yeah, of course, yeah.
Saturday night pizzas. I know where he is. He's a geoguesser. Godfather's a geoguesser. All right.
I have 5 quick ones if I can.
Yeah,
rattle
give them
off.
to me. Give them to me.
Lime Slurpee. That's my favorite flavor. Voltage Mountain Dew. The Mountain Dew Voltage.
Ooh.
It's blue. It's very good. Monterey Jack Taquito. That's my favorite
Monterey's,
one.
yeah.
Oh, it's the way to go. Sweet chili heat chips. And then a Fresca.
Oh, a Fresca.
A Fresca.
Who are you? Jess Jackson from 100.3 The Bear? She loves Frescas, too. That's what I say. 7-Eleven pizza sub, followed by, back in the day when they used to have their cheeseburgers, the cheeseburgers like
really
10, 12 years ago. If you know, you know.
Okay.
But when like in my 20s, when we were partying, the burgers at 7-Eleven were unreal. Now they've changed them now. It's ridiculous.
I think it depends, too, on the locale. Some places are a little more into their heat rack than others. Anthony says you can get Porto Mags at 7-Eleven in Japan.
Of course.
A beer and a mag. Let's go. Hey, YTT.
This is why that's a hill I'll die on, that the Japanese are perverts. Grape Slurpee. Chicken on a stick. It's good.
They do a good bird. They do a good bird.
The one down by the airport has the chicken on a stick. I visit it sometimes after I land. And then taquito will be number 5 on my list.
Any flavor, you don't care.
Yeah, any flavor.
Taquitos,
any flavor. All right, question number 3. Guys, if it is the 4 regular people drafting in the draft, who right now do you think is least likely to win?
Well, nobody got relegated, correct? Just so we're at
there's been no relegation yet.
So we'll be just running it back. Well, look, my winning percentage hasn't, I don't think, been sparkling. I don't know. I don't think
you or Jay have won one here yet.
No. So, I mean, an early flyer on me, perhaps?
No, I think they asked who's worst, who's not going to win.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, just given, I mean, based on history here so far, why would you have me near the top? Now,
are you
bulletin board material?
You're already going for the low tide, like, oh, woe is me. I can't win.
Woe is me. If you're gonna visit our friends out at Cool Bet and lay a little wager on this thing, I wouldn't say going with me just based on my performance thus far. But again, bulletin board material, I'll have to say.
I can't wait for this draft.
I'm quoting myself, printing out the quote and putting it up in my room.
I'm going to say Tommy. I don't think Tommy's going to continue this run. I think Tommy's due for a classic Gazzola
20
draft.
rounds for Tommy?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's got it in him.
Slimer.
He'll be throwing in the towel after 15.
Yeah. I don't know if he's got the stamina to do 20, especially if Peg notices.
More of attrition. Maybe we should bring him up just to kind of...
Yeah. Hey, Tommy, the draft's tomorrow, but look who we brought into town. Peg notice, like, let's party. All right. If you're watching over on YouTube, hammer the thumbs up. If you're listening on TuneIn, iHeart, or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, please tell your friends about EST and how easy it is to consume our content. Let's do Scalding Hot Takes.
Oh, yeah.
Then I'll turn it over to you guys. You can do a sports update.
All right.
My flight boards in an hour and 5 minutes. I think I'll be able to make it. I can't take the Henday, though. You think I should go out through Devon?
Yeah.
No. I think I'll take the White Mud across.
See the country.
And then down on Gateway or Edmonton, whatever the south one is.
Take the Red Arrow.
Down to the airport? That would be that'd be a good one. All right, we'll get into Scalding Hot Takes here. Gager, actually, maybe I'll see Gager. Gager's driving his daughter to the airport. That's why he can't be here to judge Scalding Hot Takes today. So what we are going to do is YouTube, Trev is going to put up a poll on YouTube. You want to put it up now, and then people can vote immediately, or do you want to put it up right after?
Yeah, as soon as we finish.
Okay, right after, we'll make it live.
Before we start.
90% of the vote before we even get going. All right, let me get the hot takes bed here, and then we are good to go. Scalding Hot Takes. So you're the defending champion. We haven't played in like a month, probably.
Well,
you guys have been doing the head-to-head.
Look at that.
Oh, it's he. He's a double holder right now.
I'm a duel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something's got to give.
All right, so you'll go first. I'll go second.
Sure.
Trev will have the hammer. Scalding Hot Takes brought to you by Claiborne Services. They are hiring all positions, including journeyman bricklayers and apprentices of all levels. Take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program as well, and work with peace of mind, knowing that they're an industry leader in safety. We're talking the best of the best in safety. Visit www.claiborneservices.com or make it easy and give Jeff a call at 780-910-6728. All right, Lieutenant Eric, you will lead us off. YouTube Trev will go second. Or I'll go second, and YouTube Trev will go third. The hammer.
The hammer.
The hammer. He's coming for the mitt.
Trev the hammer.
He's ready for the mitt. Tommy the wrench. YouTube Trev the hammer. Here we go. I'll start the bed. Eric, you're on the clock. Here we go.
Let's go.
Time now for Scalding Hot Takes.
Scores in golf would be a lot lower if the holes were bigger.
Careful. That takes hot.
When Nathan Rourke grows up, he wants to be Vernon Adams Jr.
Hot take alert.
I'd like to thank Dustin Nielson from taking time away from holding Glenn Suter's hand to be here.
That's a hot take.
Baseball games are too long. They should only be one inning.
The hottest of take.
This week, MBT stands for Massively Big Triumph.
Wow, scalding hot take.
Connor McDavid is the Michael Jordan of hockey.
Careful, that take's hot.
There's more fighting in soccer than hockey.
Hot take alert.
William Stanback was the final piece of the puzzle for the BC Lions.
That's a hot take.
Dustin Nielson is the Michael Jordan of Edmonton sports talk.
The hottest of take.
It should be mandatory in hockey to play with an injury.
Wow, scalding hot take.
The Bombers should blow it up.
Careful, that take's hot.
When LeBron James asked to be knighted, Michael Jordan said, "Kneel, son."
Hot take alert.
If the nets were lower in basketball, you'd encourage a lot more people to play.
That's a hot take.
Cody Fajardo has never met a 6-yard pass he didn't like.
Wow, scalding hot take.
My bedroom is hotter than Dustin Nielson's hot takes.
Man.
Careful, that take's hot.
I gotta tell you,
At you here. He's coming at you here.
Trev's coming at me pretty good today.
I'm sorry, but I complimented you. That was the biggest compliment ever.
No, it wasn't.
You're the Michael Jordan of Edmonton sports talk. You're the best. You're the best.
No, that would mean I'm number 2. You're killing me.
I'm sorry.
He slaughtered you.
Yeah, you know what's funny is that I almost went with 5 Jordan takes today myself. And then I did CFL takes just for his amusement.
I loved it. You get my vote.
You
I'm
must
giving
have
you
loved
myth,
the
but-
Cody Fajardo's never met a 6-yard pass he didn't like.
Yeah. Or a goalpost in a division final that he...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that too. 2 of them, right? Yeah. Unbelievable. All right, the vote is up. YouTube Trev, Dustin Nielson, or Lieutenant Eric. Hop over there and have your vote right now. And, YouTube Trev is crushing it. He's crushing it. It's YouTube Trev's day. I mean, it's a runaway.
Like Thanos.
It's a runaway.
It's been so long.
It's a runaway.
Did you know it's been since January since I've had this?
You've not won the Mitt since January?
Since January. Because I won the in-season tournament that we had 3 times. But it's been a minute.
Minus 40 to plus 40.
But you don't know. But you don't know.
Congratulations,
It's
Trev.
still early.
Tonight when you're sweating your sack off, put your hand in a mitt to cool down.
This will cool me down.
That'll really
Toss
work.
in the freezer.
Grandpa Dave. Love Grandpa Dave just chiming in. Not even close. YTT in a landslide.
Yeah, it's a slaughter.
Yeah, there was, I mean, it's one of the most...
Nielson.
George says, Dusty got no love. I didn't deserve any love, Georgie.
took that one.
I told Rick, I was like, I'm coming with 5 CFL takes.
Yeah, nobody likes
I don't think I'm winning it today. But congratulations to you two, Trev. Scalding hot take. Clayburn Services. If you're looking for work, ClayburnServices.com. That ends a 6.5-month run without the Scalding hot take Smith for YouTube, Trev. All right, I got to jet to the airport. No pun intended. That was bad. I didn't mean to do that. Eric's got a Sports Center update coming your way here for Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria. Trev, Rick, take her the rest of the way.
Yeah, enjoy hey, safe travels by boat or whatever you're doing here.
I'll talk to you on Friday Night Football on TSN with one of my other good friends, Matt Dunnigan. Dunnigan's with me on...
get out of here.
Dunnigan
Those
with
are the
me
games I love the best.
Those are highly entertaining.
Absolutely.
I never know what he's going to say. I always feel like we're going to get canceled. But Friday Night Football should be a good one. Congratulations to Trev on the win. Let's get to a sports update. I love you too, Trev. Let's get to a sports update with LTE.
Week 6 in the CFL kicking off tonight down in Montreal. The undefeated Alouettes hosting the 2-2 Argonauts. Elks back home to host Ottawa Sunday at 5. Final matchup is set at the Copa Americas. It'll be Colombia taking on Argentina in the final on Sunday. After Colombia defeated Uruguay 1-0, that means Canada will face Uruguay Saturday at 6 in the third-place game. USA over Canada 86-72 last night down in Vegas in a Paris Olympics basketball primer. On the diamond, the Riverhawks falling 17-5 out in Wenatchee. Rubber match of that series goes later tonight. Riverhawks are in a game-and-a-half back of the Apple Sox for top spot in the division. Prospects dropping a 13-6 decision to Lethbridge down in Sherwood Park. They're on the road. They'll visit Medicine Hat Mavericks this evening. First pitch, 7:05. And the Jays, rubber match of their series with the Giants goes later this afternoon at 1:45. Kevin Gosman will man the mound as the Jays take Game 2 last night, 10-6. Sports update brought to you by Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria. BMPP is a real pizzeria restaurant, not just a delivery pizza chain. Serving authentic Italian cuisine with their made-in-house pizza dough, traditional tomato sauce, and fresh toppings. Each pizza is cooked to perfection, a pizza experience you've been waiting for. Visit them 12848 97th Street. Order online, www.bmp.ca, or call 587-746-0550.
to the hollow, the devil may care. If I showed you around my heart, would you mind if I shared to show you what's wrong with me? I will not change it. I will wait patiently while you get painted out. Let me into your untainted tribe to be the one who gets to live a lie. Oh, let me lie with you. I'll be a perfect stranger. I wanna be that stupid boy that you don't talk about. You better believe there's a sharp knife beside my bed. You better believe there's a sharp knife inside my head. And if you would leave, I would take you by the hand. You and I would leave, but it wouldn't be that bad.
Slam! That's a Whale and the Wolf. They were out performing Stony Plain Way last night. If you went out and caught them, let us know how the performance was as the boys got to stretch their legs in that summer heat. 8:37, of course. Dustin Nielson jetting off to the airport, as he said. He'll have the call here as CFL Week 6 will continue. Friday night football, Stamps and Bombers tomorrow night down in Winnipeg. Lieutenant Eric and the champ. YTT, YouTube Trev behind the monitors. The praise continues to just roll in here. Matty Iwanek also, what do you? If you want. You're busy though. You're planning a show here, Matt. I feel free to. It's the beauty of EST. Is
Let's bring Matty on here. Let's see what he's doing. Let's
just marvel at him here.
Yeah.
But people are calling you for the draft ready here. You want to get in the next draft?
One day, eventually, I'll definitely get into a draft.
Not at the expense of somebody else right now.
Yeah. No, someone's got to, because it's been so long, we forget it was in the voting system. If you don't get voted in at like 10, 15%,
we had a relegation system.
Relegation,
and nobody's
exactly.
been relegated yet, so by the spirit of the rules. 10%.
10%.
Was it
10%?
10%?
Joins us here.
Oh, yeah, I'll fix the camera.
Put yourself in the middle right there.
You don't have to if you got the hangout coming up
That's
in
all
20.
set up.
It's all good. You're all.
Well, I came a little early because I knew that this might.
Oh, well, thank you
not a
very
little
much.
early.
Yeah. Hope you didn't it's not like you didn't have faith that you.
No,
YTT
no,
might
I never
lock it down
I've never
here.
been on with just the two of you.
I know this is weird, eh? Yeah.
It's always on the hangout.
And you've been sitting over there when we started the morning show, so it's a lot different now.
I got an issue with you two though, and Dusty. I mentioned it to Dusty earlier.
Does that have to do with the fan?
No, what's the issue with the fan?
Well, we brought it in here. I thought.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
It's a very small fan for a big room. That was just supposed to be for my office, but it has to cool down this entire place.
It's
so.
the engine that could.
Although, go into the hangout room after. Ice cold.
Ice cold?
It's cold. It's nice in there. Did you spend the night here last night?
Maybe.
Go in if you're gonna do it again tonight, honestly, go in the hangout room. Is that cool?
I might have.
When you look at when you're talking about 7-Eleven products, not a single one of you took Spitz.
Oh, I actually forgot about Spitz. Okay, I'd take that out for Mountain Dew.
Because it's not all about just the night of drinking. It's the stop before the road trip or whatever that is, picking up your Spitz.
Well, I can buy Advil there too, but it doesn't mean like you can buy things that you can buy at other places. I'm just saying I thought it was a 7-Eleven specific product.
I thought it was just whatever you bought picking up at 7-Eleven, and I generally buy my Spitz at 7-Eleven than anywhere else.
If that was the case, I'd probably have chips a little higher on the or it would make
that's the way I viewed that as a what are you buying when you stop at Sev?
I thought it was strictly 7-Eleven.
No, I don't think it was Sev exclusive.
Okay,
I should have. That's definitely that's in my. I always on my way to sports every Tuesday. I'll generally grab some Spitz, usually, and cracked pepper is my go-to. That's LT's. Yeah. Cracked pepper.
Yeah, Pinner's Pancake says dill pickle. I mean, we'll all have, we can open up you can discuss that on
smoky
for 2 hours, which is the best flavor.
The smoky barbecue.
Yeah, and you eat them as well. Hey, you don't just suck and spit. It's a full. I know. I just want to make sure because we know one man that.
No, you don't
sits in
know
that
this.
chair.
I got mad because at the old place we used to have a lot of seeds flying around.
We sucked on seeds. We chewed them. We had cups. Yeah, inside.
And then one day Dusty wanted some, so I gave him some of mine. And all he does is he puts them in his mouth, sucks the salt off, and spits them out. He doesn't get surprised. He doesn't crack into the shell. He doesn't get the seed. He just sucks on the salt and spits it out.
That's very disappointing.
They're all flavor sticks to him. Like, you get that stick and.
Okay, well, now I got some more ammo for next week's hot takes if he's here.
Chart it down. I mean, it's easy.
Just get one of those salt blocks. You
Pulling
can lick that
vegetables
all night.
It's like a horse.
Don't waste the seeds.
Again, the plaudits continue in for YTT. It's been a long time coming. As Zacticum says, the last time Trevor won the mitt, I was still on practicum. Wow, how time flies. So Zach getting involved there as well.
Hot take.
Maddie, I'm glad you're in the chair with me. What did you think of the brawl? What are we calling it? The Charlotte something? I
didn't even think of that. We're going to have to look into that.
There's something there. Hey, I mean,
there'd have to be. It was the Malice at the Palace.
Right.
It's in Charlotte, isn't it? Bank of America Stadium or something?
The heist at the bank. I don't know.
It's got to be something involved with that.
Milbury went into the stands once too, didn't he? I mean,
well, Craig McTavish spoke about that on the Hangout once because I didn't realize McTavish was part of that brawl. But McTavish was there for that.
Concerns though for a World Cup hosting, I would say, due to security with that. That's a cautionary tale, perhaps, eh?
Oh, I also look at the field actually is my bigger concern for the World Cup hosting. Is that
given the conditions last night, or?
Well, yeah, and MetLife was the one where Canada took on Argentina as the host of the World Cup final.
Yes.
And you look at the pitch that they had for that; it was garbage. It was all you could see all the sewing of it together and stuff, and then. Yeah, then you got the security part to all of this.
And this 2 years after what happened down in Mexico as well at a club game where a lot of violence happened.
2026, yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's also did you realize how much smaller the pitches are?
In terms of what?
Because they have to put them in NFL stadiums?
Yeah.
No, for Copa even.
Oh, it's all... Well, there's
they did a uniform pitch for the entire tournament.
For Copa.
And they played a game in Orlando, and somebody put up the lines of the... I wonder if I could quickly find it here. The lines of a regular MLS match in Orlando versus what they're using for Copa, and it's a lot smaller.
The Copa one's a lot smaller than...
Yes, which doesn't actually bode well for Canada. Canada is a team that wants the bigger field.
I think they want the wider fields. I don't want the phone booth
You want the Buchanans, you want the Schaufelbergs, you want the Davies to be able to run with that little extra speed and get around someone. So I don't like that. But we got to fit these into NFL stadiums, so there's the sacrifice that's made. Go United 2026. What a great event.
Another interesting twist and tale into this, trying to shoehorn soccer into the North American landscape. Hey, it's a beautiful thing. No security. Everybody just has a hot dog and sits down and enjoys the game. That's what you do, right, Maddie?
That's all you do.
That's all you do.
You stand before the match, too. And then you sit down.
Say a little prayer, as they did, right?
Oh, that was great.
CFL Week 6, thoughts heading in? Anything? What jumps out at you in terms of? I mean, Elks obviously Sunday, all coming off the bye, 0-4. We all know that
they have to win. That's the story, isn't it?
You can't lose another one by a field goal. Moral victories.
I don't care. It's not even by
a
field goal. That doesn't matter. You can't lose to the Ottawa Redblacks. What's the excuse which I've been part of for the 0-4 start to the Elks season this year was they've lost close games to very good football teams. BC Lions a good football team. The Argos at that point were a good football team. The Montreal Alouettes are a good football team, and the Riders have shown that they're a good football team. So there's
and we
that.
prepped a bit prior to the season. We looked at the schedule.
But if you lose to the Ottawa Redblacks, now what do you say when you drop to 0-5?
And we had Naylor on earlier today. Obviously, their quarterback situation a little gray right now.
Which leaves the Sacramento Gold Miners a little gray right now for quarterbacking.
Hello.
MBT's going to get the start. There's no question.
As he should. Some people, and I thought it was your burner account clamoring for a MBT, get him out of here, replace him. I mean, he's up there in metrics and categories. It's not the quarterback play plaguing this team, but...
well... Can we get into that?
Overall? Okay,
so,
go.
MBT, they've played 4 games.
Yeah.
He's been good in 2. He was bad in the second one. They lost because of him. And in the fourth one, he was okay. But, look, what were we told of why he was brought in? Was to come in and win. He was brought in to win football games, and they're 0-4. I'm not saying punt him. I'm not saying get rid of him right now. But he was brought in to bring some victories to the Edmonton Elks.
But he's not bombing games.
And they're still 0-4. But they're still 0-4. He's not winning them football games. He was brought in to win football games.
Getting close.
We were told that that don't care.
But you make a mistake on defense. You make a mistake. That's not on him.
But will your team to a victory? Find a way to get that victory. Again, Game 2 was all on MBT. That if there was one reason they lost, it was because he had some very bad throws and threw interceptions.
A few moments.
He hasn't. He even in the games that were close, he's underthrown receivers. He doesn't have that accuracy that's dead on. He has absolutely no chemistry with Geno Lewis.
Well, that's gone down the pecking order now.
Which is very concerning.
I think Dylan Mitchell, you could say, has surpassed him.
Yes, but you're paying $300,000 to a guy like Eugene Lewis, and you're getting nothing out of him because there's absolutely no chemistry, and your quarterback's not getting to the ball to him. Now, I don't know if that's all Eugene Lewis not getting open, or if that's MBT not throwing to him. But at the same time, what we've been told with Eugene Lewis since he came here last year was he's a guy you just have to put the ball up to. It doesn't matter what type of coverage he's in. He's going to find a way to catch it. So throw him the football.
Curly Gittins Jr. 263. That is your and Dylan Mitchell 355. Your 1 and 2 Mitchell and Curly Gittins Jr. with the receiving core there. I agree. It's just I think the full body of work. You can't be that disappointed in calling for a change. However,
I'm not saying I wouldn't, and that's where it's not change time, but.
Like your
he
guy
was told that he was brought in, and everything that was said was he's going to win football games. Well, at some point, win football games. We know those quarterbacks go out there and will their teams to victory. We're like, the Elks are losing late scores. Why aren't you scoring the late scores to win these games? That's where, like, this is a huge game on Sunday.
Well, you compare that to what the Riders are doing in their 4-0 record as well. You're snatching victory out of the hands of defeat, and it's the total opposite thing here.
And that was the reason McLeod Bethel Thompson was brought in, according to Chris Jones.
Sean Oakman, though, you got to be feeling good about that. A little proactive during the bye week as well, right?
Sure.
Right?
I guess we'll see. But that's the game for me. Well, partly because we're here in Edmonton, but that's the one to focus on.
Sunday, 5 o'clock. Of course, you and Milne will be on the air. Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. 4, I would assume.
4 o'clock. We're going to go
kickoff
show. Kickoff 5 o'clock. Surf and Turf is the daily special at Century Casino on Sundays.
Well, that's a no-brainer.
Surf and Turf. They also have the game day special, which is cheese and jalapeno smokies.
Give me both.
Or smoky with waffle fries. They got 6 o'clock or lager and cans on special, as well as game day draft on special. All at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, just off Forward Up Road, where every day is game day.
Pop down, see the boys. The specials are tight. Pop on the train and head down to the game afterwards. It's a great little deal there.
I think I'll be going to that game.
Love it. Wheel says 0-5 heads will roll. Well, fans' heads are already rolling, but also
Jobs heads.
But we talked about it with the ownership, and I'm kind of like. I get it in the production, what we see, records and all that, but you can't serve food on a table that's not been cleaned yet. You have to get your priorities in. Can you can you afford to make a move? Because if it gets to 0-5, you're pulling alarms here. This is something you can't just continue on like they have been.
Yeah, you got to do something.
You got to do
your
something.
Your fan base is like I'm not expecting a great crowd right now for Sunday necessarily because they're 0-4.
Yeah, that's what it is.
They're not winning. And it's Ottawa that comes to town. Like,
Yep.
it's not a
rival.
sexy opponent in any way, shape, or form.
Traveling fans.
So if you fall again and you drop to 0-5, how do you go to your fan base and say, we're just going to keep running with this? But the thing that's hanging over all of this is the new ownership. That's the thing. Can you do something? So we got Murray said this week, it's basically they're just crossing the T's, dotting the I's, and as Tommy says, the lowercase J's.
Good point.
You can't forget
and
those
crossing
J's.
the Z's if you want to stay.
I mean, be one of those people. I would say that if Murray is accurate, and Murray knows a lot of people, he's very well connected with the Edmonton Elks. If they're down to the 1 and just finalizing it, it's pretty simple to make a change if they want it. If Rick Lawlisher goes to that ownership group or person or whoever it might be, actually Murray was saying it might be just a person. You just ask. What do you want to happen right now? Keep this running until we're official and you take over, or should we make a move now just to start this process? If I was Rick Lawlisher, if the Elks fall to 0-5, I'm making that call.
I mean, that is the option.
I need to serve something to the fan base.
There has to a pound of flesh, whatever you want to call it.
And there's nothing. There's no one else the fans want. Last year was Steve McAdoo. You could serve that to the fans at 0-9.
Oh, we ate it. We've already digested it, right? Like that's come and gone.
There's nothing else you could serve. And that I think is the right move.
Sure.
The other thing you could serve is a switch at quarterback to Trey Ford. But as we've just said, I wouldn't say fully yet that this is.
And I see what you mean. Yeah,
that's the other thing. You could announce. You could go to force Chris Jones' hand on that, which he probably wouldn't do, and that might lead to him being fired then in that sense. But you couldn't say we want Trey Ford now as the starting quarterback, or at least in the next game against Ottawa or something.
A different look and
give us a different look.
But
I never want a business side and business decisions to impact the football necessarily.
And that's
but those are the only two moves you can make to try to win fans back. The other thing is you go forward with it as is, and I just don't know how you can do that. If you drop to 1-5. Now, look, based on the way they've played through 4 games, they should win this football game.
MBT hasn't played D. One bad game, he's been fine. That comes in from red with 2 Ds. Yes, and it's not
So
tennis here. There's MBT doesn't play D, in which defense I'm sure he's talking about.
But what was the rest of that?
One bad game, he's been fine.
Okay, one bad game, which cost them a game. It was okay. The last game against BC, he wasn't great. He wasn't good. He was all right, I guess, which he's being paid over $300,000 over $400,000. I want a
You're
quarterback
expecting
who's
lights out performances, not just a good body of work.
That's what he was brought in for. Yeah. Otherwise, why not just develop straightforward type like that? That's and I don't want to get into that argument of this, but he's a $400,000 quarterback,
but never been a flashy one.
Which I'm not saying games.
They're paying him money, maybe a little more so than he requires or does in terms of skill and everything. But that's what you've done.
You have to go.
You've made the bed, and
you were the starting quarterback.
Absolutely,
of this team.
yeah. No,
and he's had 2 really good games, but they still can't win. Yes, and that's mostly on defense, those ones.
And that's where I would say, again, talking and discussing football, that there's a myriad of things here right now. But usually, again, these games and these losses have come down to a mistake here, a mistake there, either by defense, by quarterbacking, or whatever. 780-218-9999, Paris Julia's inbox, or in the nasty chat. Oilers HD getting us back on track. Congrats to Leon getting engaged. I don't know if you've heard the news already.
Of course I did.
How could you not, right?
How did you miss that?
Holy heck. So they're engaged. That's going to be great. She's an actor as well, so that can't possibly...
So we get an Oiler wedding this summer, Oiler wedding next summer?
What
ways to celebrate the offseason? Connor couldn't get the Stanley Cup at his wedding. Maybe Leon could get the Stanley Cup at his wedding.
That's the driver now, right? Like, that's the goal you aspire and shoot for. So, I mean...
Celeste, is that the name?
Celeste?
Celeste? It's just Celeste.
I think it's Celeste.
Celeste?
Delaurier.
Yeah. Do it for Celeste. Yeah. Get her the cup.
I don't like diving into too much of this. Like, I don't want to know them on first name basis. I don't know. Like, let them get.
It feels weird to me. I won't lie. Seeing some of the tweets, and look, I know Lauren posted them, so they're public.
Oh, she's out there. Yeah.
Seeing other people then repost everything about like their testing.
The
wedding testing
food
and stuff, and it's
yesterday in the drinks.
Well, how about the sunburn from McDavid as well? Hey, that was something that dominated.
He was crisp.
Guy makes how much money? He can't even apply SPF.
You know what he's getting out of that? He's going to get a good looking tan once that red goes away.
An SPF deal. Look, did you see my knees when I burnt him? Like a brownie now. They're beautiful.
Yes, that's the like. Take care of your skin. Yeah. You should be using sunscreen. But if you don't, and you get that little bit of red after that red goes away, you're going to look good. I got a great flip-flop tan going.
Well, and he's timed it as well, probably for, as you said,
the wedding.
He'll be nice. And
you don't need to go in a tanning bed. You got it naturally.
Yeah, exactly. What do we got coming up on the Hangout today? What do we full menu of?
Jolene Latimer, who's from The Score.
Yes,
she's going to be in because Gager can't be here today.
Yeah, is this business for Gager today too? We have to do
driving his daughter to
the airport.
The airport.
So
he's bailing. Thanks, Gager.
He'll be in
Guy
tomorrow,
finished his second place at the EST Classic, and he's just like, ooh, big deal. Yeah.
Tomorrow alongside? Okay, beauty. I love that. So myself and Trev, you'll be by as well for a Friday show?
I will be here tomorrow.
Yeah, love it. Lock it in.
Yes, sir.
Beer of the week, obviously, and a few other things to discuss tomorrow with Gager, 8:54.
MLSC just announced that they've parted ways with Argos and TFC president Bill Manning. Effective immediately.
How is this connected to Chad Kelly?
This is what happens when you lose to Forge FC.
Well,
heads must roll.
What were they doing? A players' meeting on the pitch 10 minutes into the game last night or something like that? Oh, boy.
Well, John Herman's really, I feel like I want to feel completely bad for him, but it's also like, that was not he's got to get rid of a lot.
Is he their MBT?
No, the thing is, he needs to get rid of a bunch of those guys. Insigne and Bernadeschi aren't going to be
big names, though. Big names,
John Herdman.
Big names 5 years ago or whatever it was. Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment continuing to try and find themselves in the win column a bit, and with the various sports ventures that they hold.
Well,
so we wish them well.
I will say this from a CFL perspective, though. Keith Pelly's the new head of MLSC. Mm-hmm. For those in the CFL world know, Keith Pelly's a big supporter and booster of the CFL. He's a long time been around it. I'm very intrigued about the next hire he has, specifically for what they do for the Toronto Argonauts.
Well, maybe now paying too much attention to the Argonauts and not enough to Toronto FC.
Well, but maybe having someone come in. Like Bill Manning doesn't care, I don't think ever cared about the Argos.
No.
He was there for TFC. Is Keith Pelly going to find that person that's... You've got 2 football teams to worry about.
Football, correct.
Football.
Very good. And yes, now it's making the rounds up all the major sports. And that'll be the news of today.
And you're going to going to the USA?
Well, we got Leon's engagement out here, and then you got MLSC shuffling chairs out there.
Well, and then you got Jurgen Klopp going to the USA, taking over their men's national.
Damn it, this soccer chat has been great. We need to pot it. We got to pot it. He might.
I hope
you
not.
and I were DMing. Well, I hope not too.
I didn't get a response. Here's the thing about Jurgen Klopp.
Just to reset this, USA Soccer is reached out to one Jurgen Klopp.
They've reached out to Jurgen Klopp, who's just leaving Liverpool. And as much as I hate Liverpool, and with that, by extension, hate Jurgen Klopp, he's an amazing manager.
Management.
He's a top 3 in the world right now.
In terms of just sport.
I was just going to say in the sport of soccer.
But how you manage as well.
I know, but it's Pep's the best manager in the world right now. I can't dispute that, even though I have my issues with City.
Yeah.
Jurgen Klopp would be at least top 3. I don't know who I'd put ahead of Klopp right now.
Berhalter? I'm sure USA Soccer would.
I actually, he might be. I got to give respect to Ancelotti to a degree with what he's done, but Klopp might be the second best manager in the world.
Yeah.
And I just love that the Americans are going to take the shot at him. They don't have they don't spend the money that he's expecting. I don't know. So they have to get a lot of money from him. But the thing is, I don't want Klopp to do it because it might hurt his legacy. You go and don't succeed with the U.S., which is very likely.
With the support that you get there, coaching that
and there's going to be a lot of pressure. I just don't think it works well. I don't do that. Wait for the German job after 2026.
That's the rumored one that he is eyeing up, but we'll see. That's the thing, though, Matty. When the USA comes a-calling, when they're knocking at the door,
just stay away from our
calling you
manager.
on the phone. You pick up that phone.
Do not call Jesse Marsh.
Regardless of the sport.
You stay away from the Canadian manager.
Unless it's the U19 football team, American football team, which didn't do too well up here.
Don't touch Jesse.
8:57. Matty, we can let you go if you want to prep
No.
the show.
We can do. I'll do the wrap.
You really we'll do the wrap right now. Well, actually, Matty, here you can read the liner here for it because I know Bruce Dunn and William Huff had an interesting change to the liner the other day, which we got to. But if you will,
if you want your place to look as good as ours, visit the team at WilliamHuff.com, which Eric and I were at on Monday. Great. They're wrapped up so nice outside their building.
And they have a popcorn machine inside for your
in business since 1952. So you know they're incredible at what they do. I told Dusty that. And he says, on their website, it says 1972. And I immediately Googled William Huff.
Goes back and forth. I love it.
Well, I immediately just Googled William Huff. I didn't tell Dusty this. And it says, right there, since 1952.
That's tough. That's a tough defense. I don't know. He's going to maybe get SBLLP on the line for that one for old Dusty there. But, go see them at William Huff today. It's really cool because they've wrapped their building so you really don't know where the door is. And you can kind of...
It's fascinating. It's awesome.
I like how you do that. But what did we learn on the show this morning, Maddie? Did you learn anything in the brief 10 minutes you were with us here?
I learned that you guys disrespected Spitz.
It was the nature of the question, to which... I think we all thought that it was like 7-Eleven branded foods, the taquitos, the wedges.
The way I read
Slurpees.
it was, what's your go-to things to buy at Sev?
That really opens it up.
That to me was just, what are your top 5 things that when you walk into Sev, do you pick up?
I'm also learning here, courtesy Florian Plettenberg online here, Joshua Xerxes on the verge of joining Man United with immediate effect. So you might want to...
Got a couple guys coming to Man United.
Dawning of a new day for you,
Ten Hag in, baby.
Yep. Text of the day as well, and that's for A&W, $20 to A&W. Come and get it. I know I'm going to go with one of these because after YTT, YouTube Trev, one Scalding takes the mitt back in his possession. There are a lot of glowing reviews on him, so I'll be picking one of those, probably the best one. If you still want to get him in, though, for YTT, feel free, 780-218-9999. Any sort of YTT glow buzz, get it in right now, and you could be a text of the day winner. Bronco Nick says Ancelotti number 1, Klopp number 2. Okay, well, that's... Pep nowhere to be seen in the top 2.
I understand there's 115 is it? 115 charges.
115 FC, yeah, exactly.
I get that, but...
Rats jumping the ship.
He's changed the game of football, if you will. People have followed his suit.
All new managers mention his name.
He's the best manager. I can't disrespect that. Ancelotti is fantastic. I love him. I wanted him to be the Canadian manager.
I'm still Everton once upon a time. Remember that?
He managed Everton. I want him to be the Canadian manager. I want him to now be the Italian manager. 5 Champions League titles. I still have to. I can't disrespect.
A nation
Pep.
can dream.
I can't disrespect Pep in that way fully. As much as I despise what's happened at City.
Jesse Marshall in your top 5 though, easily, hey?
Well, he falls in at probably number 4. A battle of Leeds managers for third place at Copa.
Oh my God, I never even thought about
Yes.
that. Man, we are getting nerdy here. Who's it? George Conlon says, Maddie, no offense to the Hangout. I miss you in this format. So
that's stunning. Thank you, George. I didn't
You
think
got one.
I thought it'd be.
You got one.
I thought everyone would say the complete opposite with me jumping on the morning show at the end.
I love this. This was a great surprise. I mean, I was ready to YouTube Trevin. I had a full half-hour show planned, actually. We were discussing last night. We had various guests. But thank you for jumping in here and kind of taking over. I really appreciate it.
Well, soccer talking.
And that's, look, whenever we do that too, I get a taste, and we'll need to do some sort of a 5-minute podcast. Soccer talk.
Actually, you want to know something?
5 minutes. That's it. In and out.
5 to 10 minutes once a week. These are our thoughts. Boom, in, out, gone.
I'm telling you. Let's lock it in. I want to thank Southport Chevrolet, namely presenting sponsor of the Nielson Show this morning. We're celebrating, it says here, 40 years. He's got that right here, 40 years? That says 40, right? Dustin's print and copy here is always 40 years. Southport Chev. Check them out today.
Yeah, 40 years.
Fort
I'm
Saskatchewan.
just intrigued by what's in brackets. Is there a reason for what's in brackets? Does Dusty struggle with dates or something?
I think they're really spelling this out long form for him. Hey, established 1983, not 1986. So take that with you. Maybe share that with him if you go in and visit the dealership there and the team, Daniel, down at Southport Chev. But thank you to everyone else. Dave Naylor as well, spending his time with us to set up Week 6 in the Canadian Football League. We also had the Oilers number 2, courtesy of the ESPN draft rankings. I got beef, courtesy Corey the Butcher and Acme Meat. Alley Cat touched on them for a bit as well in the Cool But Canada hotline of the day. YTT, once again, congratulations. You got the mitt, man. It's going to keep you
guys.
cool. Throw it in the freezer
Thank
for
you.
a couple hours, hey?
I might just have to.
Plop her on, hey?
See what I can do with this.
And boys, go stand in the hangout room after.
You
hang
don't
out
have
in
to
a bit,
tell me
yeah.
twice.
Like, it's incredible. I don't know why that room is what
It's
the
a meat
temperature is.
locker
And
in there,
nobody
hey?
else, like every other room is the way it is.
The legend of this building continues to grow, hey, day by day. For YTT, Matt Iwanek, we appreciate his time here. I'm Lieutenant Eric, and we look forward to joining you. I'll speak to you tomorrow on the Nielsen Show. Myself, Walking Gage, YouTube Trev will take you home. Should be a fun Friday. Enjoy your day. Hangout coming up next. Keep it on YouTube. Autoplay, auto-tune is on. All that good stuff. Hangout next. Maddie's in
We
there.
should
It's gonna
do it
be
in
great.
auto-tune. The entire
The hangout is next. Goodbye.